once or twice like Riley did for that show. You guys, as we get underway at Pin Seekers, we lost our video connection with you, so we're working on repairing that. Are you going to hit balls at any point during the program?
Like during the program or in the break? Because I plan on hitting them in the break. During the program sounds like a dream. Stroke, you can handle this. I can go hit some balls.
Yeah, well, the issue with me, Jason, is there was a video once upon a time on the Rutledge and Hamilton Twitter of me missing a golf ball after 8 consecutive swings when we were golfing out at U Ridge last summer. So I think I'll probably stay put where I'm sitting right now.
I was thinking because in honor of Tausch not being here, I was thinking a digi-only, as he likes to call them. By the way, I would love for you to digitally get back on video because right now Riley's just showing a big screen of me, and that's a bit much. It's just me all by myself. So, Riley, maybe turn on the video camera in the radio studio so at least you can join me in the video because staring back at me, not a real great look, and I don't think it's driving traffic to YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook either. All right, so you guys are going to have some fun over there. I was told that, and I know he hasn't reached the acclaim of Mel Kiper, who joined us yesterday, but I was told that my friend Chad Reuter from NFL.com was there, and he is a draft guru as well. I'm curious, are you guys draft nerding out yet? We had Mel Kiper on yesterday. Chad is there hitting golf balls and drinking Coors Lights with you guys. Are you into your draft mode yet as Packers fans?
No. And the reason I say this is because there's still some free agents out there that we might be getting. Like, I've been thinking about the draft a little bit, but it's mostly on who's going in that top 10 and where some of these other people are going. Like, we did a little mock thing of where we thought some of these quarterbacks would be going, and I'm so far doing pretty good on my predictions. So I'm curious to see where some of these young quarterbacks go in the draft, but I'm not super concerned with the Packers. Goody's done a pretty good job. Like, as much as I like to bash on his draft skills occasionally, he's hit on a handful, and this Jordan Love one was one that I thought was a big F at first, and now I'm kind of eating crow. So
A+.
Yeah, I'm sitting back, and I'm just going to let Goody do his thing. I'm not going to worry about it or fret about it at all, personally.
Yeah,
Strofe, what about you?
I'm pretty much in the same boat as Matt, right? Like, right now I'm in the midst of over-consuming college basketball, as obviously the round of 64 in the men's tournament tipping off yesterday, the women's tournament tipping off today. So I'm going to over-consume college basketball for a few weeks, and then I'll dive in. But I think it's more about positional need than it is necessarily a specific player. And I listened to Kiper yesterday and talking about the Iowa D-back, Cooper. How do you say that, Jason? Is it DeJean? Is it DeJean?
I've now heard it multiple ways, and I was going to look that up because I had heard it as DeJean. And I don't know if that's like you being a Green Bay guy. We have Cormier Road here. There's like a Target store on it and stuff. And people who have any sort of French knowledge always say, I'll meet you at that place on Cormier. Well, oui, monsieur. But no, it's Cormier. So I don't know if he's French or not.
But nonetheless, that's the one guy I've kind of had my eyes on just because of the positional need at safety. And as Mel Kiper said on Wilde and Tausch yesterday, he's viewed as the top safety and probably the second or third best corner in this draft. And defensive back is probably the top of the line when it comes to needs for the Packers that they're going to address here in the draft with 11 picks. But I haven't really dove into player names and relative athletic scores quite yet. Jason, outside of former Badgers running back Isaac Garendo having the second best ever for a running back behind Saquon Barkley. So I'll let Goody take care of that. I'll just sit back and enjoy the show.
We will talk more about the draft because I do have two big Packers fans along for the ride today as our cousin subs of the day. Again, Alex Strofe and Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton are live from Pin Seekers in DeForest. I was looking at the website. It's an impressive place. Like, even someone of limited skill like myself at this point in my golf career, I could see myself hitting a bucket of balls there. I think that looks like fun. So I'm sorry I'm missing out We will do if we.
Not only that, Jason, they got a little duck pin bowling downstairs you could get into. They have bowling.
That's like. Are those like the? Those are like the tiny little pins, right?
Mm-hmm. With the small little 2-pound bowling ball. It's a lot of fun.
Is it more like bowling or more like curling? Given the given the size of the pins, is it? Yeah, I suppose there's crossover for you.
Yeah, sure, certainly crossover, but just the fact that there's something for everybody out here at Pin Seekers, full bar and 50-cent Coors Light taps, and the range where I can just go and hit dingers all afternoon. I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
Now that you're back on the video stream, and again, you can join us Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Is that a Ben Brust jersey?
Sure is. I traded one of my Olympic jerseys for it. So I think this is even game-worn Ben Brust jersey.
I was in the ESPN Madison Everlight Solar Studios last week. I considered stealing your bobblehead of you because you had promised me one in exchange for the Paula and Jason wedding bobbleheads, which
That's true.
Regret to inform you I still have lots of.
I was going to say, how many of those do you have, Jason?
I think we have about 15 that are left over from our wedding. We had 200-plus guests, and so they all got one, but we ordered more than we needed.
If you're looking to pawn them off, I feel like I could find a spot for a Jason and Paula dual bobblehead. That's so funny.
That's good.
It's a great wedding gift.
Yeah, I don't like if you come to a wedding and this is what you take home. I don't know if that's a great gift or not. It's a great gift for me, but would it make your bobblehead collection? Would you?
Yeah.
I would think it would be probably further to the back of the rotation, though, right? Toward the back row.
Give one to Strofe, and you're forcing a trade on me. No,
I haven't given one to Strofe.
You're a big enough deal to have a bobblehead of yourself. I'm just an idiot who talks smack on the radio. I don't have a bobblehead.
I think you can make those now fairly inexpensively. I got to talk to my guy Phil at the Bobblehead Museum, the National Bobblehead Museum. Maybe we could get a Strofe bobblehead, when you've accomplished more in your career.
Yeah, give me a couple of years if you don't mind.
I will be happy to do that. All right, we've got Matt and Alex at Pin Seekers in DeForest. We've got Riley and Hunter in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. And then you got me in my basement. But I ventured out of it yesterday, and I was in the Gruberlovs' One Call That's All studios in Milwaukee along with Josh DiMaggio. We've got a whole crew here making sure that we keep you entertained in the absence of Tausch and Jesse. You think Jesse's driving to Dubuque right now, and do you think he's listening to the show?
No, I think he's hungover, sleeping in a hotel room in Dubuque, Iowa, because I believe he got there last night. He left work immediately after the show yesterday, Jason. He's the hardest working man in showbiz, as we like to call him.
Good. I can poke fun at him all I want, and he won't hear it then. All right, we're gonna shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit of actual football because Strofe caught Chewy making a very interesting statement about this team because he's been a little skeptical over the past year, and his statement really resonated with Strofe. We'll hear what he had to say. Want to remind you, I mentioned I was in Milwaukee yesterday. I was meeting with our friends from Associated Bank, and we had a great lunch. They are a great, great partner, and if you are a Packers fan, there is no better place to be banking than Associated Bank. Not only do you get your Packers Debit MasterCard, not only do you get 10% off the Packers Pro Shop, both in-store and online, but you get their great customer service, and I'm a bad secret keeper. Everyone knows I'm a bad secret keeper. There might be some fun little things coming with Associated Bank with the NFL Draft coming to Green Bay a year from now. So if you haven't signed up for Packers Checking yet, might be a good time to do it. I'm just saying I might have a little insider information there for you. So go to AssociatedBank.com/Packers to find out more. AssociatedBank.com/Packers. More from Pin Seekers in DeForest. It's Wilde and Tausch.
From the Preps.
Russell spins his way into the paint with contact, finishes and a foul.
That was pretty.
To the pros.
Beverly launches from three, and he knocks it down.
The biggest games play on 100.5 ESPN.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Get 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. I'm Gina Della from Pella. Pella's free in-home consultations make replacing or redesigning your windows and doors easy. We go beyond just measuring and handing you a quote by listening and educating you on all of your product options. And with DesignWorks, you can see what your home will look like before you buy. Order by March 31st to get 0% interest for up to 3 years. Set your free consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
Time to start thinking about a summer job? Jesse Nelson here, and Madison School and Community Recreation is now hiring for many positions, including day camp and youth program leaders, outdoor adventure staff, support staff for individuals with disabilities, sports instructors and officials, and more. Full and part-time positions with daytime and evening hours are available. No matter your interest, schedule, or location, there's a position for everyone. At MSCR, you can make an immediate impact in the community and gain meaningful experience. Start your summer adventure today. Apply at mscr.org.
Come see Thanalysis live from Potawatomi Casino Hotel on Friday, March 22nd.
Hey, welcome to another Thanalysis show. And we do well coming on into this podcast.
Be there for the first ever live show for Thanasis as he's joined by his brother, none other than the Greek freak, Giannis Adetokounmpo.
I took off my shoes and I was like, go crazy, go hoop. That's all it was.
Stay tuned for info. Tickets are on sale soon. Thanalysis live in Potawatomi Casino Hotel on Friday, March 22nd.
Our kids deserve the best we can give them. Hi, this is Sarah Tauscher. If you're looking for somewhere that kids can learn, play, and enjoy family fun all at once, then register today in one of the spring youth programs at the Prairie Athletic Club. With 6 basketball courts, a full-size indoor soccer field, and swim lessons at one of the 5 indoor pools, they've got it all. Join today or visit as a guest and discover why the Pack is consistently voted the best place to work out and best thing for kids to do year after year. Visit prairieathletic.com. Prairie Athletic Club, family fun community.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offer the Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
I am reluctant to say this because I don't want Matt Hamilton, Olympic gold medalist and 4th place finisher, to get a big head.
Too late.
But watching you hit golf balls at Pin Seekers, because I just had a source close to you send me video.
Right.
And maybe it's just this left-handed thing, but I don't think so because I've seen Tausch swing a golf club. He's left-handed. Gabe Neitzel is left-handed. Mm-hmm. You're left-handed. But you look like Ken Griffey hitting a ball out of the ballpark. What a sweet-looking swing.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it gets pretty choppy and pretty ugly. And Strofe came out there. That was the first swing of the day. So I appreciate that. That was pretty nice of you to say because it felt like an ugly swing.
Well, I don't know if they'll get better or worse as the 50-cent Coors Lights flow and then they become $1 Coors Lights, because still a great bargain. We'll see how that affects the ball striking for you. Strofe, you said you listened to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on your drive up from Milwaukee, which you could have made last night, as we've confirmed. But
whatever.
He made a comment. I think this was was it yesterday or was it this morning? I lose track.
I believe it was actually Wednesday, Jason, but continue.
About the Packers window, which is, I'm sure, a beautiful Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin window. But he talked about his expectations for this team and his expectations for Jordan Love. And when I listened to this after you sent it over, I thought, wow, Chewy, big time drinking the Kool-Aid. Here is Chewy on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on ESPN Milwaukee.
I wouldn't bet on them this year, but I fully, God, I think they win one in this next three. I think they win one in this next three, and before Jordan's out of here, he'll win another one. I really do. I mean, the stars are aligned. All he has to do, he doesn't even have to have the draft he had last year. If he has half that, I mean, they're in a great place. They got money. They got draft picks. They got guys who can play. But like I said, there will be a transition period in the defense. And the two things that concern me are this, Jen. Offensive line. Okay? He's got to hit the picks because they have a depth problem and they have to stay healthy. If two of those things do not happen, they don't stay healthy, and he doesn't hit the picks, that can spell disaster for a team. And I think I said it yesterday. A linebacking core isn't going to totally disrupt a season. The offensive line can. So that's a concern. And then my other concern is, was it the players on defense last year, or was it Joe Barry? And we're going to find that out very early, because if it was the players, then that's going to push things back a little bit.
So I love that Chewy is so brimming with confidence about this regime, and it's the opposite of, as many people have heard, it's kind of like Eddie Lacy, the league comes at you fast. As many have heard, Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, and I, in a trailer down by the river or by Lake Michigan at Summerfest, on the Summerfest grounds, where we had the alarm bells going against you, and it turned out in the first 7 games we looked like we knew exactly what we were talking about, and by the end of the season they had overcome that. I am curious, when you hear Chewy talk about this, knowing that Brett Favre won 1 Super Bowl and went to one other, and Aaron Rodgers went to 1 Super Bowl and won it and never got back to another one, to hear him saying that Jordan Love is going to win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years and then win another one later in his career, from his lips to the football god's ears, right? Because that would make the Packers relevant for another decade plus, and that would be great. It almost sounds to me like one of the great tight ends in Packers history has forgotten just how freaking hard it is to win championships. That is my initial reaction. What was yours when you heard it?
Yeah, I'll start, Matt, if you don't mind. I think listening to this earlier this week, Jason, you just alluded to it, right? We date back to last July when you, myself, and Gabe Neitzel are at Summerfest. You two are about as glass half empty as can be about the rebuilding Green Bay Packers. I was still trying to maintain my optimism, but it was ripped to shreds by you and Gabe. Ultimately, we saw how this team did in the youth movement that Brian Gutekunst built. They win a playoff game. They make the playoffs. They have the top-seeded team that ultimately ended up winning the NFC on the ropes in the postseason. I'm about as optimistic of a fan as you can get. But hearing 1 Super Bowl in the next 3 years and 2 overall for Jordan Love makes me ponder, are we overvaluing Jordan Love's first season as the starter in Green Bay? I have high hopes for what he can turn into as the Green Bay Packers starting quarterback. but we've only seen a stretch of 9 or 10 games that was really, really good. Can he maintain that, though, for the entirety of a season and a postseason? That still remains to be seen. I'm not trying to be negative because I think Jordan Love can be a really damn good quarterback in the NFL. But can he be Patrick Mahomes level to the point where you're winning multiple Super Bowls in a tenure as the Packers starting quarterback, which could be 8 years, it could be 10 years, and if we're lucky and if history repeats itself yet again, it could be 13 or 14 years. But 2 Super Bowls in that timeline, that's high hopes. I mean, I love it. I love the take from Chewy. I hope he's right. I hope he's further right. I hope they win 8 Super Bowls in 10 years. But you're right, Jason. It is really hard to win a Super Bowl in the NFL, and I still think the Packers are probably a couple of years away.
Matt, you've come around on Love in a big way like I have. I was the reason I was so negative with Strofe at Summerfest was because we basically had 10 throws against Philly in that game after Rodgers left in 2022 to work off of where he looked good. Other than that, there were some glimpses during preseason games, but that's preseason. And again, I know I bring this up a lot.
Chiefs game.
Right, and there was that game, and there were those 2020 and 2021 practices where he did not look like he was ever going to be an NFL starting quarterback. That's just the reality. And, I thought David Bakhtiari last week, talking about how our eyes are tainted by watching Rodgers and Favre. I agree with that, but he just did not look very good. And now he's completely changed that, and he deserves a ton of credit for doing that and taking advantage of the time he was waiting. But, Matt, as a fan, and you're watching him now, do you think that Chewy's take is a realistic one, or is that we're getting a little swept up, a little over our skis, as Tausch has been known to get?
Well, first, I hope Chewy knocked on wood after he said that, because I don't want to jinx anything. I do think that the Packers can be one of the top teams in the NFC for a while moving forward. Obviously, we've got to figure out the defense, and like he was mentioning, that offensive line can absolutely ruin a quarterback. We saw what happened to Justin Fields in Chicago. So you need an offensive line to protect your guy. And I don't know if his first comment about winning one in the next 3 years is true. I do think that the Packers have the pieces, the youth right now, and if everybody is able to make steps forward, which doesn't always happen, but if a lot of these young guys who had good rookie and sophomore campaigns can continue to grow and improve, I like our chances at being an absolute contender for the NFC and making that Super Bowl. But once you're in that NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl, you're playing another elite level team. There's no guarantee that you get away with it. One bad turnover or one little mistake by a DB and you give up an ugly touchdown, and that game could be over. And there's such a fine margin between winning and losing at that level. It's hard for me to say I'm confident that Jordan Love will win 2 Super Bowls in his Packer tenure. I'm confident that he is going to be a NFC Championship perennial guy, a guy who's always going to be in the mix to make that NFC Championship game and maybe even win it a couple times. But getting that Super Bowl done and everything else, I think he does make an appearance at some point in his career in Green Bay.
So I hear you say that, Matt, and I'm curious as a Packers fan because I'm thinking about it as you're talking about it. Is that good enough? Right, well, we've had that. And winning is really fun. I'm not saying we want to be crappy in the basement like the Chicago Bears have been. Sorry, Jim Rutledge. The last decade and a half.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say sorry, not sorry.
But yes. Aaron Rodgers was an NFC Championship perennial quarterback. He made a ton of them. He just lost most of them, other than one, right, back in 2010. Is that good enough for you to be an NFC Championship perennial quarterback, but maybe not good enough to win the big game? Would you be satisfied with that?
Okay, so the athlete side of me, the guy who competes in sports and realizes how difficult it is to win when everybody is elite, that part of me is yes, that's good enough because it is so hard to get it done. As a fan, no, I want that championship as a fan. So it's really tough. Sometimes I gotta separate myself and realize hey, I know these guys make millions, but they're people too, and mistakes do happen, and they're playing other guys who are fantastic football players. So maybe this was me guarding my heart a little bit as a fan, saying I'm content with this. I would be content with it. I don't think I would be thrilled, but I wouldn't be upset because you're going to get 17 weeks of great football in the regular season and then potentially another month and a half to just enjoy what they're doing. If he never wins another Super Bowl but makes it there, that's a really long season to really enjoy being a fan of a team, and I don't think that can be taken for granted.
One of the worst parts of my job is that I always feel like I have to, I think I've used this with you before, Strofe. I'm like the thumb on the scale. And if it's going too far one direction, I always feel like I have to put my thumb on it to go the other direction. And there was a lot of negativity at 2-5. And Tausch got after me pretty good for daring to say that I saw glimpses of spectacular play, which I still believe I saw. And I felt justified in then how he played, Love played later. Now I feel like I have to be on the other side of the scale because I do think we've gotten swept up in how good that stretch was, which, by the way, was also mixed in with the loss to Tampa and not a very impressive performance against the worst team in the league in Carolina on Christmas Eve. We kind of forget those games. The Giants game, right? And so I understand, and I love that fans are excited. Yes, Tommy DeVito. How you doing?
Don't forget.
But I don't want to be Debbie Downer to fans that are swept up in the euphoria of how good Jordan Love looked. The one thing I keep going back to is the analogy to a pitcher going through the batting lineup a second and a third time, and they start to figure him out a little bit better. And that pitcher then has to figure out ways to counterbalance that. And I'm eager to see what Jordan does. I don't know if you've listened to the show before, but I like Jordan.
Yeah, you
I really want to see him.
I
I want to see him succeed because I like him as a person, not because I'm a Packers fan. And I think he will. But the idea of proclaiming he's going to win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years and then win another one subsequently is a lot. And to me, it just makes it sound like it's easier than it is. Because, yeah, you're damn right that Aaron Rodgers should have won another Super Bowl. They shouldn't have collapsed in 14. They shouldn't have lost at
in one.
Absolutely.
At
right.
least appeared in one more.
Shouldn't have lost in 20 playing at home. And if David Bakhtiari doesn't shred his knee during a Thursday in pads practice, which he's clearly still bitter about, on New Year's Eve, they probably do go to the Super Bowl. Because their offensive line was junk in that game. So I get it. But that's the kind of stuff that happens. And so you need good players. You need them playing well when the game is on the line. But you also need some luck. And maybe they'll get that luck, right? The Packers in 2010 got the luck of a huge return by Jackson for the Eagles, right, to keep them afloat, right? I mean, there were things that went their way. So, again, I hope Chewy's right because that's going to be some compelling football to cover. We're going to have to wait and see. But get swept up in the euphoria. Go right ahead.
Well, hold on, Jason, because I obviously I have been swept up in the euphoria. Not quite to the point of Chewy. But Chewy's opinion aside, are we overvaluing the 9-10 game stretch of Jordan Love, or is it a time will tell type situation in your opinion?
I think, and look, you can value it as however you want to, right? You watch the games. You know what you're watching. Yeah. For me, there is part of me that probably is, my view is skewed because I also saw him struggle early in his career. And then look, there's no doubt that he improved I'm not going to swear on the radio, just like you're not going to drink Coors Lights, but a hell of a lot, right? I mean, he improved a ton, and that's, he had good talent around him. That's Matt LaFleur's scheme. That's Tom Clements improving his fundamentals. But most of the credit goes to Jordan Love for making that happen. Because he did not look like an NFL quarterback the first 2 years that we watched him in training camp. And so maybe I am still thinking about how he looked in the first 7 games and then thinking about my analogy about the pitcher going through the batting order and saying, man, now that they know what he is, I would think defensive coordinators will have a better idea of how to defend him and how to counteract I'm sure defensive coordinators also were surprised to see the Packers running their offense as it was designed, as opposed to however the last guy ran it, and change things constantly. So those things all kind of factor in. But, again, I think you should be really excited about how good he was last year. I just don't think it's going to be quite as easy as maybe some folks seem to think. That's the best place I can land.
Interesting. Not as easy as some folks think.
Like they think these next coming years, because the last 10 games we're gonna be a perennial 13-12 win team or better, right?
And they might be, Matt.
And they might be, right?
But that's hard to do in the NFL.
That's the wait and see part of this. But what we saw as Packers fans down the stretch and into the postseason, even the loss against San Francisco outside of maybe the fourth quarter, the guy was terrific. He was as good as anybody in the National Football League at his position throughout that course of time. So I'm super intrigued to see if he can piece it together throughout the entirety of the 2024 campaign, because I assume the timeline that we heard from Chewy in that clip, 3 years, is because all these guys are under contract for 3 years on their rookie deals, right? Yep. The tight ends, the wide receivers. Now Josh Jacobs on a 4-year deal. This is the window. The Pella window is wide open. It's just a matter of if we can see the team we saw in December and January, or if we see again the team, God forbid, that we saw in October.
Yeah, the bottom line is this, and to put a bow on it so we can play trivia late, because that's our MO here, no matter if Tausch is here or not, is Jordan Love was so good against Dallas. I mean, I'm still mad at Matt LaFleur for putting him back in and having him throw that incomplete pass to Tucker Kraft, because he had a perfect 158.3 passer rating. Yeah, 157.2 is still really good, but it ain't perfection. And if he'd have just left him on the bench and not panicked, he would have had a perfect passer rating in a playoff game. His first playoff start. And what bothers me is that he made it look really easy in that game. Really easy. The touchdown throw to Wicks, and everything clicked. And it's not always going to be that way. And I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer when I say that. I'm just saying that's what fuels this expectation, because he was really freaking good. Really, really perfect, some might say, until Matt LaFleur screwed it up. All right, well, we're hoping that we'll have perfect trivia today. Strofe, did you do this all by your lonesome?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you right off the bat, though. I don't know if it's my finest work. But, yes, the trivia questions were written by me.
Okay. For us, the most important thing is, are the answers that are delineated as correct actually correct?
Unless I've been living in a simulation, I believe the answers are correct according to my research, yes.
That puts us one up on when Jesse does that then. All right, caller 7 right now. The category is NCAA Tournament Trivia. NCAA Tournament Trivia. Caller 7. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. We will play trivia next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Like, share, and follow ESPN Madison everywhere. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for more great content from ESPN Madison. This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand. Rah! Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. ESPN NFL draft expert Mel Kiper Jr. was on Wilde and Tausch on ESPN Wisconsin earlier this week and discussed his difficulty in assessing now former Wisconsin running back Braylon Allen ahead of the 2024 NFL draft.
Allen, I haven't figured out. And a lot of these guys, hey, you'll be right on some, you'll be wrong on others. But at least you have an idea, right? You have a strong conviction on those guys. I don't have it. I haven't been able to figure out Braylon Allen.
Find the full conversation with Mel Kiper Jr. on Wilde and Tausch, available wherever you get your podcast and on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Get no interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Don't wait. You have to order by March 31st. Visit PellaWI.com.
Mark Tauscher here, and this Friday of the big tournament is always one of my favorite feel-good Fridays of the year, painted by Holman Lindsay Paints. Stick around to hear a few of the best.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. Whether you're ready to hit the road, tackle the yard, or start a new project, we get you the right products at the right prices. Like 36-pound bags of Estate Crabgrass Preventer with lawn fertilizer, $32.99. Get organized with $30 off DeWalt 4-foot 3-tier industrial shelving. And break up rust or corrosion with Blaster Penetrating Catalyst, $32.99 a gallon. We get you outdoors because we get you at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company is a Madison original, brewing award-winning craft beers for nearly 30 years. Whether you're a fan of Pilsners, IPAs, Stouts, or Sours, the Danes team of brewers always have something new on tap. Or if you're in the mood for a classic, enjoy the German Pilsner or Crop Circle Wheat. For a full tap list, head to one of their locations in Fitchburg, Hilldale, downtown, or East Madison, or visit GreatDanePub.com. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's original brew pub since 1994.
I am our team lead at Stone Trailer. I've been here for 10 years, perfect attendance. A couple of things that I like to do around here extra is the safety committee. It's one of these things that helps our people. Me and my wife are traveling. We kind of look for all the Stoughton trailers that we can see. It's kind of exciting showing her what I do for a career. My name is Rich, and I am proud to be a part of Stoughton Trailers.
Stoughton Trailers, big trailers, big opportunity.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Continuing live from Pin Seekers in DeForest, where Strofe, you're not going to swing a club at all? Is that, am I accurately depicting your plans?
I do see a slot machine on the second floor, Jason, so I might try my luck at that. But I don't know that I'll be golfing with Matt's very expensive club, which, by the way, humble brag for Matt Hamilton, who just walked back inside moments ago and said, Strofe, I just crushed one 285.
Nice.
Like
centimeters.
Centimeters, yes.
Strofe, you're not left-handed too, are you?
No, I'm right-handed.
So you're gonna have to borrow someone else's clubs than the
great point, Jason.
long hitter
great
off
point.
the tee. Oh, Cinderella story, Matt Hamilton. All right, let's play some trivia.
What accent was that?
That's from Cinderella story. That's Bill Murray as the groundskeeper Carl Spackler in Caddyshack. I am starting to reach the reality that I am surrounded by much younger people.
No, I got it. I knew exactly what you were talking about.
I guarantee 98% of the audience understood that reference. I just happen to fall into the 2% of people that have not seen the legendary movie Caddyshack.
All right, let's ask Justin in Cudahy if he's seen Caddyshack. Justin, good morning. Thanks for being our contestant.
Good
have
morning.
You seen Caddyshack?
I have.
Okay. Are you over the age of 30?
I am 38.
Perfect. So Strofe, I'll send you the VHS tape so you can watch it. All right. The category is NCAA tournament trivia. We've got 3 hosts today, so we've got 3 people asking the questions. Strofe, you get question number 1.
And in Jason Wilde fashion, I wrote a long sentence for question 1. Here we go, Justin. Good luck. Back on December 2nd, 2 NCAA tournament teams faced off in an in-state rivalry game at the Kohl Center in Madison. Who won this edition of the annual matchup? Was it A, the Wisconsin Badgers, B, the Marquette Golden Eagles, or C, my alma mater, the UW Stevens Point Pointers?
I will go with Marquette.
Ooh. That is incorrect.
There we go, Riley.
There we go, Riley. It was the Wisconsin Badgers.
Riley just woke up. Hit the button.
That's a great point.
Yes, unfortunately, fortunately, if you're a Wisconsin alum, the Badgers won, but that is not the correct answer. All right, let's bounce back. Question 2 goes to Matt.
All right, when Marquette made it to the Final Four during the 2003 NCAA tournament, which school did they beat in the Elite Eight? Who also happened to be the number 1 team in the country at the time? Was it A, Kentucky, B, Duke, or C, Wake Forest?
I'm sorry, all I heard was C, Wake Forest. I missed A and B.
A, Kentucky, and B, Duke. Who was the number 1 seed in the country at the time?
I'll go with Duke.
That might have been a tough question.
Yeah, that was a
In
tough
retrospect, let's see, 2003, so 20. Well, I mean, I guess you were 18 at the time, so I can't make a complete excuse for you. But all right, let's bounce back here, Justin. Let's get question 3. Who led? Oh, my God.
That doesn't sound good.
This was tough.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I said,
What is wrong with you?
Probably not my finest work. I did preface with that.
The guy was like...
This is terrible.
I was 16 or 15 years old at the time of this.
I will give you the context after Jason asks questions.
All right, so good luck. Justin, you got a 33% chance on this because you're going to be guessing. Because I'll be honest, I didn't know the answer either, so that should really give you a reason for hope. Who led the Wisconsin Badgers in points per game during the 1999-2000 season, in which they made the Final Four? Now, just in fairness, that is like my favorite team. It's one of the few times I was all in as a fan in my adult life, and I didn't know the answer to this. I would have gotten it wrong.
I don't even think Strofe was born at this point. He might have been a year old.
Yeah, I was a year and a half.
Jeez.
All right, good luck, Justin. Here you go. Here are your choices. Who was the leading scorer on that Final Four team that went to the Final Four in 2000 under Dick Bennett? Was it Cac Penne? Was it John Bryant? Or was it Mark Vershaw?
I don't even know any of those names, so I got to pick a letter. We'll go with C.
Yeah!
It's a miracle!
Oh, my goodness. I'm so glad you got that. The only player I would have known from that team was Kirk Penny.
So this question was inspired by yesterday on Rutledge and Hamilton, which you hear weekdays 4 to 6 at 100.5 ESPN in Madison, featuring the Olympic gold medalist Matt Hamilton. They were discussing yesterday this team, and Matt kept saying how much he loved. Can you do the Kirk Penny impression again, Jason, please?
Cac Penne.
Who is now the special assistant to the head coach Greg Gard for this current Badgers team. I wanted to know who the leading scorer was on that team. I got to be honest, guys, I had never heard of Mark Vershaw until I looked up that team last night at 11 p.m.
Not only that, I think he was a freshman on that Final Four team and didn't
Kirk
really
Penny
play
was a
all that
freshman on
much,
that
right?
team. Right. That's correct.
Which I, of course, know because I was an adult at the time, as opposed to anyone else on the panel. All right, Justin, I'm happy you got the last one. Congratulations.
All right.
You got 2 of the possible 4 entries. We may or may not do the drawing. We'll see if Riley's up for it. That's a lot of responsibility for young Riley in between writing love letters handwritten love letters to his girlfriend. Thanks for playing. We appreciate you being a good sport, buddy. Thanks.
All right, thanks. Love you guys.
We got to love you guys at the end. Tausch will be pleased when he hears that on Wisconsin On Demand. All right, that's it for the 9 o'clock hour. We are running very late, but we will kick off the 10 o'clock hour live from Pin Seekers in DeForest. Don't get up, Matt Hamilton. You got 2 minutes at the top of the hour, so you don't have a lot of time to swing the club during this commercial break. Stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Toscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years. Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. This month only, get $1,000 off your Luckstone shower and pay nothing until 2025. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Hey, this is Eric Name of The Athletic. You're listening to Madison's home of the Bucks, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX Monona, Madison, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison. My name is Riley Yauk, and this is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. The madness has begun. Yesterday, the NCAA men's basketball tournament officially tipped off. There was no shortage of bracket busting, as according to the NCAA March Madness Twitter account, less than 0.5% of perfect brackets remain. Shout out if you happen to own one of those. 14-seed Oakland of the Horizon League's upset of third-seeded Kentucky was certainly the highlight of the day. Tonight, the Badgers looking to avoid a similar fate against 12-seeded James Madison. Tip-off is scheduled for 8:40 p.m. Central Time on CBS. Expected to start a little later, though. Wisconsin currently sits at a 5.5-point favorite, according to ESPN Bets. Regardless, though, the Badgers have actually done quite well in the lesser-known March Madness, the NCAA Wrestling Championships. 125-pounder Eric Barnett and 165-pounder Dean Hamady both advanced to the quarterfinals, and 3 others are still alive in the Wrestlebacks. Today's first session gets underway at 11 a.m. on ESPNU. But in the meantime, let's get back to some Wilde and Tausch.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour. Wilde and Tausch begins now with Matt Hamilton, Olympic gold medalist, and Alex Strofe, rising GKB star. Our cousin subs of the day, cousin subs we believe in better, at Pin Seekers in DeForest.
And he's 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde, at his home in Green Bay, everybody. Jason Wilde.
Thank you very much. And Riley Yauk. My favorite part was I asked Riley, hey, what's your Twitter handle? And instead of saying it's just my name, he had to tell me Riley, and then he had to spell his last name like I'm some sort of moron who doesn't know how to spell his name.
It happens a lot. It happens a lot. I just wanted to clarify.
I'm a 3-time Sports Writer of the Year, though. I know how to spell people's names.
Damn straight, Jason. You wear that, bro. Attaboy.
Except for the time that I wrote a piece about Phaedra Kasrapor, who was an outstanding tennis player at Madison West in the mid-'90s. I was a young reporter, still a student at UW, but I was writing high school sports stories, and I misspelled her last name like 17 times throughout the course of the story. Which that's not the kind of, you get a story in the paper, you want to put it up on your refrigerator, and some jackwagon can't spell your last name. That's not ideal. All right.
Actually, hold on real quick, Jason.
Ooh.
When I first went to the 2018 Olympics, my local paper, the McFarland Thistle, was writing a piece on me and my sister, the locals, going to the Olympics, and the entire article, I was Mark Hamilton. The guy interviewed me for like 15 minutes in person. Mark Hamilton.
You're McFarland royalty. That man should be expelled from city limits.
Their newspaper is called the Thistle?
Yeah, sure is.
Isn't that like a prickly bush?
Well, it flowers. It's a pretty flower as well. But yeah, it's quite prickly.
Mark Hamilton, baseball player?
Apparently
I think there was a
grower.
baseball player named Mark Hamilton. I know Mark Hamill, and I'm not even a Star Wars guy. But wow. Okay, well.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, don't feel bad. It happens to the best of them.
I'm also curious. Your Twitter handle is Matt Jamilton.
Yeah.
Was Matt Hamilton taken, or were you once misidentified as Matt Jamilton along your career?
Yes, Matt Hamilton was definitely taken, and my middle initial is J, so I just swapped the middle initial for the first letter of my last name. Better.
Your creativity is nice, but I would think that an Olympic gold medalist could, talk to Elon Musk and say, "Hey, I need to be the Matt Hamilton here. Who is the real Matt Hamilton? Now I'm curious who is at Matt Hamilton. I want to see if he's a bigger deal than you."
There's
All
like
right.
a race car driver who is named Matt Hamilton that comes up on if you Google Matt Hamilton. He's like the first thing that pops up.
Speaking of big deals, we had Mel Kiper on yesterday. He is incredible. Like the level, and I understand he's been doing it a long time. I understand that there are some people that he's not their cup of tea, including the Baltimore/Indianapolis Colts once upon a time general manager who got after him. Who the hell is Mel Kiper? My mailman knows as much as he does. No, I don't think your mailman does, by the way, from that old school clip. He jammed 30 minutes of conversation yesterday into 15 minutes about all kinds of things, including looking at our, I don't want to say favorite teammate, but one of our teammates, Jim Rutledge's beloved Chicago Bears. And I'll be honest, I really, this is going to shock you, but I really like everything about Justin Fields, except for the fact that he doesn't throw the football as well as I would like your starting quarterback to throw it. And so I was not surprised at all that they have cast their lot now with Caleb Williams by trading him for a ham sandwich to Pittsburgh. But right? I mean,
pretty much.
Half-eaten ham sandwich.
At least cut off the part where you were biting on it if you're going to give it to me, because I don't want that part. Since you spend so much time with Jim Rutledge on Rutledge and Hamilton every weekday 4 to 6 on ESPN Madison, I'm curious, how has he been handling this? And what do you, as two Packers fans, expect from the Bears now that they have basically said, this is going to be our guy, we're going to pick him 1 overall?
All right, well, to jump on Jim Rutledge and how he's feeling, he is a big fan of that rookie scale deal for quarterbacks. He thinks that is the end-all, be-all, the only way you can get to the Super Bowl or at least the championship games, even with Patrick Mahomes winning on a huge deal and all sorts of other quarterbacks doing it. He always likes to pull up the quarterbacks that are in the conversation and in the playoffs, and they're all doing it on rookie deals. So he was super on board with it, but he liked Justin Fields. He said he had the locker room. Everybody loves him. He's a great personality on the team and to have around. Unfortunately, I had to remind Jim of this a couple times. It's like, hey, being a good locker room presence and being a good guy and a nice person does not necessarily win you football games. So he was a big fan of Justin Fields, but I think he was a bigger fan of the idea of getting a quarterback with as much talked about potential, elite caliber potential as Caleb Williams on a rookie scale deal in Chicago. So he was sad to see him go, but also like he's really excited for the future of the Bears. As a Packers fan, I'm very sad to see Justin go because I did not think he was super great at football, and I wanted to continue that ownership of the Chicago Bears. Not to say we won't, but Caleb Williams is still an X factor, big question mark. We don't know what he's going to be. If history repeats itself, Chicago will destroy him and will continue to be dominant over Green Bay. But who knows? Ryan Poles might have figured it out. He's got a lot of pieces around him, getting Keenan Allen. Obviously, DJ Moore last year was a stud. They got some tight ends down there that are pretty darn good, and a new running back. So who knows? He's got all the weapons available to him. It's just going to see how he transitions. Like, this is a different day and age in NIL. He's coming in a millionaire. He's not going to be hungry like some of these quarterbacks of old who came in before they made any money in college and were just they're hungry. They're trying to get that big contract after their rookie deal. Caleb Williams is coming in a millionaire. Like, who knows if that hunger is also going to be there.
I think from a monetary standpoint, maybe that's fair, but not from a quarterback standpoint,
well,
right? Being the face of a franchise in the NFL, you're still going to be hungry as the number one overall pick.
You would hope so.
But the point you're making, Matt, I totally agree with, which is it's not like Caleb Williams, like other number one overall picks in the past that are viewed upon as the savior of a franchise. Caleb Williams isn't walking into a trash 2-win team from a year ago. He's walking into a situation with very good pieces on the offensive side of the football, a very good defense, and by the way, a team that was 7-10 a year ago and just happens to hold on to the number one overall pick. So if Caleb Williams is this quote-unquote, Jason, generational talent that he is viewed as, the Bears might be the NFC's darling sleeper team in 2024.
Yeah, not darling, sleeper team.
But to go from 7 wins to 9 wins and a playoff team, I don't think that's an impossible stretch for Chicago. So I think this rivalry might heat up over the course of the next couple of years if Caleb Williams is at least a portion of what we think he can be.
Well, we will, speaking of rivalries, I have a very intense rivalry with Rob Demovsky. And he will – no, we don't, actually. He is an outstanding reporter. I think I might edge him maybe slightly in writing, but he's an outstanding writer, too. He is a star on our beat, and he has all the breaking news. Huh?
So pat yourself on the back.
No, I was just trying to say that I don't completely suck. Yeah, that's all. Rob Demovsky from ESPN joins us next. Speaking of great, there's no debate on this. They don't need pats on the back, but they are the best in the business, and that, of course, is Steinhafels. And right now it's out with the old and in with the new during Steinhafels' new for spring sale. This is the perfect time to update your bedroom. When you buy a mattress over $2,999 with Steinhafels 60-month financing, you can save $300 on a bedroom purchase plus get free delivery. Steinhafels has something for every style and every budget, including my new mattress that we have in our guest room. Check them out online at steinhafels.com or just swing by the store. Rob Demovsky joins us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott and Garrett and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. Well, what's right around the corner? Mother's Day. Show some love to the incredible women in your life and stop at Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. I recommend Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison. Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million active members. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All you do, pick more or less on a 2 to 6 player stat projection and watch the winnings roll in. Whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Prize Picks even offers injury insurance so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets hurt. For basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, Prize Picks will have your back and not count that as a loss. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions and special offers for the biggest moments in sports. Download the app today and use code WI for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code WI on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
I've been here for about 3 years, been a team lead since 3 months. I love the company. It's a fun place to work. It always keeps me busy every single day. Right off the bat, I told them I wanted a career here. Sure enough, after 3 months, I got promoted. You just got to make sure that you have the ambition to get there. I can one day see my kid and say, hey, look, I built that trailer. My name is Gabriel, and I am incredibly proud to be part of Stoughton Trailers.
Stoughton Trailers, big opportunity.
At Starion Bank, they pride themselves on being a super community bank. Small enough to show they care about you and the communities they serve, while being large enough to make big things happen. With 3 Madison area branches in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona, Starion Bank is here investing in your community while offering valuable personal and business banking services. Start your experience with Starion Bank today by going to starionbank.com. Member FDIC.
The Milwaukee Bucks, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
It's Lopez, rinse and repeat. Another 3.
Sunday on Madison's home of the Bucks, 100.5 ESPN.
If Matt Hamilton wants somebody to give him a run for his money off the tee at Pin Seekers in DeForest, I got just the guy. And he joins us now. I believe, I don't know how many years ago this was, but I had the Packers press box announcer at a preseason game announce that Rob had qualified or was competing for the state amateur title in golf, and now he joins us. It is Rob Demovsky from ESPN.com. Rob, good morning. How are you?
Hi, Jason. How are you?
Good. You're with Alex Strofe and Matt Hamilton today. Tausch couldn't stand talking to you for yet another week. He had to get out of town.
Oh, I've been listening.
Wow,
so
thanks, Rob.
Well, he does it out of obligation.
I will say this. Yesterday you said you had Mel Kiper who crammed 30 minutes of information into 15 minutes. I usually go 15 minutes of information and make it last 30 minutes.
That's better than me, who has about 10 minutes of information over the course of an hour. So, Rob, there's been something that I've been thinking about a lot lately when it comes to this team, and I want to get your view on it because Goody made a comment. You were at the NFL Scouting Combine when he did his group thing with Wisconsin reporters and with the national media, and it sounded to me like he thought after what happened on the offensive side of the ball, he would like to do the same thing on the defensive side of the ball. Young guys going through growing pains together and then coming out on the other side. And I'm wondering if when you heard him say something to that effect, and then you looked at the way free agency has played out, because I think we were on the same page expecting maybe some bargain signings over the last week, and that hasn't happened. It's been McKinney, and it's been Jacobs and Dunzo after that. Do you think that that's Goody's plan? And if so, can he replicate what he did on offense on defense?
Well, if he has a draft like, last year's offensive draft, really the last couple of years, offensive drafts were with going back a couple of years ago with Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson, and then, of course, last year with Reed and Wicks and Musgrave and Kraft, and I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. But, his drafting the last couple of years has really put them in a position. Yeah, it's one thing to be a young team, but you can be a young team and be a young crappy team, or you can be a young team and play really well. That's clearly what, is going to have to happen with, linebacker, with another run-stopping defensive lineman, with maybe another pass rusher because, Kingsley Enagbare is not probably going to be ready for the start of the year. Again, not a star player, but a guy who played some valuable snaps and gave you some production. They probably still need at least one more safety, if not two, maybe another corner. And, armed with, 5 picks in the top 90-something?
Yeah, 91.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure that's what he's banking on. Now, did he just, sort of, I don't want to say get lucky the last 2 years because that's oversimplifying it, but did he just get, fortunate in the last couple of years, or does he really have this draft thing figured out? And if he really has this draft thing figured out, then, his strategy for free agency makes perfect sense.
Rob, so obviously, I in Goody we trust. I think he's done a great job on the draft. But right now, I'm reminded that Campbell, I believe, was picked up in June a couple of years ago, and he turned out to be a pretty valuable player to this defense. Do you think there's going to be some good values, kind of like Campbell, coming up later in this free agency offseason, or do you think that we are kind of putting all of our chips into the draft basket?
It's a great question, Matt. You're right about, I believe Devondre Campbell came to Green Bay for either the last or second to last day of the mandatory minicamp, which is the end of the offseason program. And then that's when he signed. Those are pretty rare, but, there is always this group of players that, teams hold on to until they see what they get in the draft. And then there'll be a, not a massive, amount of releases like there are in February before free agency, but there is another round of veteran guys that will hit the street, that hit the waiver wires and the free agent lists, first week of May, after teams have used all their draft picks and signed their undrafted rookies. So there is a chance that you could see an addition or two at that time of the year. But to get a Devondre Campbell, the guy who turned out to be an All-Pro the next year, and then a malcontent 3 years later, I'm not sure if that's probably if that's going to happen.
What's made him so good, Goody, at the low-risk, high-reward moves? And look, I don't have a pulse on the other 31 teams as well as you and Jason do, Rob, but it seems like Goody has really made a living on these low-risk, high-reward moves, like the Devondre Campbell move a few years ago. Matt just alluded to. Rasul Douglas. I mean, the list is long, right? I mean, he's brought guys at Bo Melton last year, right? What's made Goody so good at this, Rob?
Well, I mean, I think one thing, he's always worked around really good people, and that's, I'm sure the trickle-down effect from, guys like Homer and Tausch from working with Jason all those years has made those guys better, right? But I think that, Goody has been around Ron Wolf, has been around John Dorsey, has been around Elliott Wolf, has been around Ted Thompson, John Schneider, on and on and on, Reggie McKenzie, all these guys that have, really done it well at a consistently long pace, long stretch of time, I think that means something. Now, just because you work with good people doesn't mean you're going to be, you're going to be great. But it sure helps, and I think he's been well schooled. And I think sometimes taking the conservative approach, and not spending a ton of money, not always trading up for picks, although he has traded up at times. But, Jason, I know Jason has heard, this from Ted Thompson and Goody, that, the more at-bats you have, whether it's signing guys or drafting guys, the more likely you are to hit a few doubles, triples, and home runs.
Rob, talking with Rob Demovsky from ESPN.com. I don't know how much time he's got for us, but we're just going to keep him for a really long time because I have a ton of questions for him. And you mentioned Devondre Campbell. So, you and I think you've played golf with this guy once or twice. We both know Brian Bulaga pretty well. He's not a overly emotional type guy. But, man, was he pissed by the stuff that he read from Devondre Campbell. And look, Brian is a believer in keeping things in-house. He was a great type of that guy on the Packers roster, and he could not believe the 21-tweet tirade that Devondre Campbell went on out the door. I read it, Rob, as there's some kernels of truth that are really interesting in here. At the 100%. Same time, to basically say that anytime that I wasn't great, it was somebody else's fault, and anytime I or the defense were good, it was my doing, rubbed me the wrong way. What did you make of his tirade?
Yeah, first of all, I agree about both of your assessments. Sure, there is some issues there, and quite frankly, that's why they changed defensive coordinators. I know other players who would go to Matt LaFleur and have meetings might not be the right word, but begging Matt LaFleur to do something different on defense. There were players who would have conversations with the scouting department about why the defensive staff is doing what they're doing. So that's not, and I don't know that that's that unusual. I think that happens across not just the NFL but all sports, and it's good to have an open door policy, and it's good that Devondre Campbell went to Matt LaFleur. Now on the flip side, I believe Matt Schneidman tweeted this, Matt Schneidman from The Athletic, and I remembered this before we even talked about this in our private group chat. When Devondre Campbell came to Green Bay, or shortly, maybe it was after his first season, he basically said the same thing about the places he had been before and how great it was that he's finally with a team that knows how to use him properly. So in that sense, things hollow. But on the other hand, there's no question that there were issues. And look, I don't care where you work. ESPN, the Green Bay Press Gazette, the Green Bay Packers, ESPN Milwaukee, IBM, Apple, University of Wisconsin system. There's a certain level of dysfunction at all large operations. That's just the way it is. It's the ones that can manage it behind the scenes and deal with these types of things, because these types of things happen all the time at every level of, every aspect of corporate life. And let's make no mistake about it, football is a corporation. Football teams, it's a large corporation. It's not like what it was, a few years ago when you had, well, more than a few, but in the 70s and 80s when you had an offensive coordinator, an offensive assistant, a defensive coordinator, a defensive assistant, and a head coach, right? The staff, there's 40, 50 people on these coaching staffs. The front office, the scouting department has 40, 50 people. I mean, goes through the Green Bay Packers press guide, there's probably 400 or 500 employees listed in that thing. So this is not that unusual. And the very fact that they managed to win at the end of the year and finish like they did, it tells you that they were at least pretty decent at handling things that come up on a daily or weekly basis with players.
You and I have done this a really long time. I believe we're up to a combined 57 seasons as we head into 2024. I am curious, I remember the Chris Akins affair where he gets into the screaming match with Mike Sherman on the sideline. There's been a few other instances. I love the fact, though, that Devondre Campbell on his way out the door bemoans the fact that they didn't even ask him to take a pay cut, and then goes on to demonstrate why they might not want him on the roster because he's such a malcontent. But did you have an inkling that things were bad with him? I just thought not only was he absent with us and refused to talk to us, but that thing about I'm not playing through injury anymore, if that wasn't a glowing red siren for the Packers, then they weren't paying attention, right?
Yeah, that was sure. And the question I have is that's when we all saw it publicly, but did they see it previous to that, right? Did they have issues with him beforehand, and was that just the first time that it came to light in a public setting, and that I don't know.
Last thing for me before these guys finish up with you at Pinseekers, and that is when I look at where this team is at, we were talking about this earlier, there's a lot of excitement, and rightfully so, about Jordan Love and how he played in the final 10 games. But we had a clip from Chewy earlier in the week where he said that this team is going to win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years and then win another one at some point on Jordan Love's watch. And I'm as excited about the kid as anybody.
Sure.
I was wrong based on what I'd seen from him in 20 and 21 about how good he was going to be as a first-year starter. I get it. But are we getting swept up here in the euphoria, and are we forgetting how freaking hard it is to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, as great as the other guys that we've seen here were, how many Super Bowls, did they win? How many did they get to? We all know the answer to that, right? I may have told this story on, your show before or one of the other shows, but a couple of years ago when Drew Brees was still in New Orleans and the Packers were playing the Saints, and our bosses wanted me and Mike Triplett, who was our Saints reporter at the time, to do a story about why Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers haven't won more Super Bowls, or haven't even been to more Super Bowls, right? They each won one, right? Drew Brees won one, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm like, well, okay, fine. So we get on a Zoom call with the editors, and I started out, I say, and you know me, sometimes I like to take the blunt, direct approach. I go, I lean in toward the camera on my laptop, and I go, I can tell you exactly why they haven't won more Super Bowls. And the editors got all excited, right? Oh, okay, we're going to get a great story here. I go, because it's really effing hard to win a Super Bowl. I think we killed it.
You are direct.
And yet they offered me another contract. So look at all them zeros.
Wow, everybody wins.
Wow, the Devondre Campbell approach, and it works out for him. Rob, I got one more question. I want to talk about the draft. I've been asking a lot of people this. What's your way too early prediction for the Packers' first pick in this draft?
Oh, they're going to take a receiver, aren't they? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, an offensive player. I would roll
just
over.
like every other year.
I would not.
The sad thing is, maybe this is the year they actually do it when we don't expect them to. No, I mean, look, it's all defensive picks from Goody in the first round, right? I could very, very easily see them taking a tackle. I know Jason knows this. I don't watch college football, and I don't pretend to know. I don't pretend to be a draft person. Saturdays in the fall are the one day that I don't have to deal with football, so I don't watch college football. I don't find the product to be entertaining in any way, shape, or form. That's a me problem, not a college football problem. He loves big people, right? So defensive line, offensive line, outside, edge rusher type of thing. Corners, you never have enough corners, and in this case I would put safeties in there as well. But to me, the really interesting thing is that, what is this defense, the conversion from the Joe Barry system to the Jeff Hafley system, what does it need? Well, it needed a downhill, side-to-side playmaking safety, and they signed that in Xavier McKinney. And the other thing they need are off-the-ball, stand-up linebackers, whatever you want to call them, not defensive ends, as outside linebackers are sometimes called.
I've heard that.
But that's what so they didn't address that position, in free agency. So that tells me that whether it's with pick 25 or pick 50, whatever they have from the Jets, or their own second-round pick, there's going to be a linebacker, and if you're lucky enough to get a guy as talented as Quay Walker, then great. But if not, someone that can complement Quay Walker, and they're going to have to play three of those guys on early downs, and right now they have, one and a half of those type of guys.
Rob, I know you don't love college football, but you love college basketball. Are you spending the rest of your day watching the tournament then as we let you go?
That is my plan. I watched from 11 a.m. till about 11:30 p.m. last night. So that's my plan.
Oakland over Kentucky was really fun to watch last night.
Well, and this is, as an aside, I like smaller college basketball. I'm sitting there last night watching that game and watching Colorado State play. Now, Colorado State didn't win, but I'm watching two guys from the Milwaukee area high schools, from the Pewaukee kid from Oakland and Brookfield, the kid at
Cartier
from Brookfield Central, I believe, both of whom started their college careers at Hillsdale College in Michigan, Division II school. And I just happened to be friends with the Hillsdale coach, and I texted them. I said, how cool is this that I'm sitting here watching two former Hillsdale players who came from Wisconsin playing at the same time in the NCAA tournament? And to me, that was awesome. Also, Lamar Simpson, former longtime Horizon League official, completely blew the call in the Stanford game at the end. That was in no way. Lamar Simpson wasn't a good official when I saw him at the Clancy Center refereeing Green Bay and UWM in 2001, and he's not a good official now.
Shots
Is
fired.
not improved with age. Rob, enjoy
career out of it at least.
Enjoy the games today, and we look forward to 6 years from now, Rob Demovsky having played at Hillsdale and then playing in the NCAA tournament. Thanks, buddy.
As a seventh-year graduate transfer, because that's probably what it'll be then.
Right. That is the outstanding Rob Demovsky.
We'll
we always love it when he joins us on Fridays, and he's worth blowing up the clock for. More Wilde and Tausch with Matt Hamilton and Alex Strofe as our cousin subs of the day. Stick around.
From the preps
Russell spins his way into the paint with contact, finishes, and a foul.
That was pretty.
to the pros.
Beverly launches from three, and he knocks it down.
The biggest games play on 100.5 ESPN. This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
You can drive cutting-edge design. 2024 Audis are on the lot and ready for delivery. You can save $7,500 on select Audi EVs with the AFS EV lease bonus. See dealer for details and exclusions. Eligibility is subject to credit approval through Audi Financial Services. Cannot be combined with national customer credit. Offer expires April 1st, 2024. Stop in and test drive today. Check out our website to see our current electric vehicle inventory and our monthly specials. The search for your Audi begins and ends at Zimbrick Audi of Madison, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road. Drive yours today.
Get 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. I'm Gina Della from Pella. Pella's free in-home consultations make replacing or redesigning your windows and doors easy. We go beyond just measuring and handing you a quote by listening and educating you on all of your product options. And with DesignWorks, you can see what your home will look like before you buy. Order by March 31st to get 0% interest for up to 3 years. Set your free consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
Madison athletes seeking elite training need to get started today at Total Athlete Performance. TAP is here to serve and educate the serious athlete with their speed, agility, and semi-private training options. Sessions are now available in both Windsor and their TAP facility inside the Verona Athletics Center. Also access remote training anytime, anywhere with the Total Athlete Performance app. Visit tapwisconsin.com for subscriptions, including monthly payment options. That's tapwisconsin.com.
I was rolling my rig on a Crescent City run with my hands on the wheel looking into the sun. With a flash, I became temporarily blind by a plate glass truck I was tailing behind. Next thing I know, I'm in the side of a ditch with a bent rear wheel and a broken off hitch. But I was hauling again in just a short while, because Truckstar Collision is on my speed dial. Do you operate a fleet, whether it's heavy-duty 18-wheelers or medium-duty delivery vans? And does vehicle downtime make you cringe? Time is money, and a fleet vehicle on the sideline hurts, because you need your fleet to be up and running 100% of the time. If one of your heavy or medium-duty fleet vehicles is out of commission, Truckstar Collision Center in Deerfield will get it back on the road quickly. Since Truckstar is a full-service facility, the complete repair is done in-house, saving you time and money. And remember, they're able to repair both heavy and medium-duty vehicles. Truckstar Collision Collision Center, minutes off I-94 in Deerfield. Call 888-400-1002 or log on to truckstarcollision.com.
Hey, it's Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Bruston Nortman, and I got to tell you about one of my new favorite ways to watch games with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app. A pick'em fantasy game where you can win real money. It's easy to find in your app store and even easier to use. Here's how it works. Pick 2 to 5 players from at least 2 different teams, then select higher or lower on those players' stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. Yeah, it is that easy. Especially with the hoop season hitting high gear, you know I'm watching every game with the Underdog Fantasy app. So right now, head to their easy-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up using promo code KBN. Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. That's promo code KBN. Join me and get the Underdog Fantasy app so that you can enhance your game watching experience just like me. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
I'm not afraid of getting old, and I will escape from dying young. I see the light.
Thanks to Rob Demovsky. Always great to catch up with him. He is direct, including throwing a referee under the bus for us that he covered games of him officiating 20 years ago. Quick correction from our teammate Lance Davis. Patrick Cartier. So this is another Cormier type situation. Who plays at Colorado State, a Brookfield East player. Brookfield East. The kid from Oakland last night who made 10 threes that played at Pewaukee.
Yeah.
That was fun to watch.
That's crazy.
Apparently he's only taken like
eight two-pointers
all season.
He made 10 threes last night in an NCAA tournament game. He has taken, prior to that game, 8 two-pointers all season long. I think that's absurd. I would imagine they're all like fast break layups, right? Like if you're only taking 8 of them. And he's coming off the bench. I mean, that is a crazy story. Shout out to the Horizon League. As I said last night on our ESPN Wisconsin College Game Night show with Brian D., if you beat UW-Milwaukee to get into the big dance, it's an automatic first-round win.
Jack Golke is his name, and he was as he's on fire, as they would say on NBA Jam back in the day.
Yeah. Boom shot
that was fun. Not so fun. I know we don't spend a lot of time talking about our brackets here, but someone in our house, Sydney, had Kentucky in the final. So she was less than pleased when she woke up this morning. I said, you could have asked me. I could have told you. They really struggled throughout the season. And there was something interesting that I heard last night after they lost. Yeah, they there were people calling for Calipari's head during the course of the season down there. But Jay Wright made a comment, and we'll get back to football in a minute. But he talked about how now, because of NIL, the pendulum is now swinging back toward teams that have guys that stick together longer are going to start having more success. And I thought it was a really astute point, because how long did we go through these teams with the one-and-dones, the Carolinas, the Dukes, the Kentuckys being in the Final Fours, because teams weren't sticking together, and you could win with all that young but supreme talent put together on one roster. And now here we are talking about how all these teams that play together for 3-4 years, they're the ones that are going to be tough. NIL may be actually improving college basketball a little bit in a strange way.
In a strange way, yes. I think you'll still have the one-and-done teams, although Calipari and Kentucky not proving that point yesterday. But translation of what Jason Wilde just said out loud, does that mean your alma mater, the Wisconsin Badgers, who are one of the most experienced teams in the entire NCAA field this year, does that mean they are due for a Final Four bid this year as a 5 seed because they have all this experience? They had the NIT run together a year ago. All they add is their best offensive player, A.J. Storr. Everything else is pretty much the same. They're going to the Final Four, Jason. That's what I'm hearing from you. Wisconsin Badgers are going to the Final Four.
I would love for that to happen. No individual on this radio program will ever predict them going to the Final Four again, after Tausch did that at midseason, and then they lost 8 of their next 11. So, no, I am not predicting that to occur in any way. If it does happen and they overcome, then I got to deal with Tausch bragging about how right he was. I told you they were a Final Four team.
But you should be willing to go through that because
I am more than willing to go through that. I would love for that to happen.
Oh, yeah, but that'll be tough.
The other part of that is I like that when they went on their run in the Big Ten tournament when he added the asterisk, he's like, yeah, I meant that in the Big Ten tournament they'll be a Final Four team, which ultimately they were. So he was right. Hashtag Tausch was right.
Same guy, by the way, who said that those big conference tournaments are stupid and dumb and a waste of time. Pretty important to get this team back on track, and we'll see what they do against James Madison today. All right, we got a lot of catching up to do. There is something that Rob Demovsky also said that I want to get to. Maybe we'll do it during the 11 o'clock hour. But we've got Strofe and the Olympic gold medalist Matt Jamilton, Mark Jamilton, going to hit some more golf balls at Pin Seekers here during the commercial break. More Wilde and Tausch. Straight ahead. Stick around.
Like, share, and follow ESPN Madison everywhere. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for more great content from ESPN Madison. This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Stoughton Trailers. Big trailers and big opportunity at Stoughton Trailers. Learn more about why a career at Stoughton Trailers might be for you. Go to stojobs.com. ESPN NFL draft expert Mel Kiper Jr. was on Wilde and Tausch on ESPN Wisconsin earlier this week and discussed his difficulty in assessing now former Wisconsin running back Braylon Allen ahead of the 2024 NFL draft.
Allen, I haven't figured out. And a lot of these guys, hey, you'll be right on some, you'll be wrong on others, but at least you have an idea, right? You have a strong conviction on those guys. I haven't been able to figure out Braylon Allen.
Find the full conversation with Mel Kiper Jr. on Wilde and Tausch, available wherever you get your podcast and on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Get no interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Don't wait. You have to order by March 31st. Visit PellaWI.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott and Garrett and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. Well, what's right around the corner? Mother's Day. Show some love to the incredible women in your life and stop at Chalmers Jewelers. The place to go for that perfect gift. I recommend Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Bikers are often blamed for causing the accident because the insurance companies simply don't want to pay. At Gruber Law Offices, we've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Trust us to fight for what you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
ESPN Madison is on Wisconsin Sports. Catch up on anything you missed on the Varsity Podcast on Wisconsin On Demand. Brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of Wisconsin Badger Athletics. If you're looking to purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Honda, shop local, part of the Madison community since 1973.
Experience virtual golf like never before at the Bogey Factory in Verona. From family-friendly mini-games to monthly tournaments, the Bogey Factory has it all. Enhance your swing with their state-of-the-art TrackMan technology, or play a full round on over 300 virtual courses. While you're there, enjoy their full kitchen and sports bar. Whether you're looking for a fun day out with family and friends, or a unique location for a corporate event, the Bogey Factory in Verona has you covered. For more information, visit thebogeyfactory.com. That's thebogeyfactory.com.
Waiting to see a general surgeon? With Stoughton Health, it's always easy access, with most appointments within a week. And with over 160 insurances accepted, you're covered and in good hands. For more information, visit stoughtonhealth.com. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
Mike Greenberg. Greeny. It's hard to win games multiple years in a row when your leading rusher is your quarterback. Lamar Jackson is uniquely gifted, but even he cannot be expected to just do this year after year. Derrick Henry is a beast. He is one of one. He is a dynamic weapon, and he will help the Ravens get back to that point where they have a chance to get over the hump this time. I love the signing.
Greeny, weekdays noon to 2 on 100.5 ESPN.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
The Milwaukee Bucks, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
It's Lopez, rinse and repeat. Another three.
Sunday on Madison's home of the Bucks, 100.5 ESPN.
Continuing live from Pin Seekers in DeForest. Well, two of the three of us are. Am I regretting not coming? Maybe a little.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe a little. Yeah. My bad.
I just got a 300-yarder in the break, so feeling pretty good about myself right now.
Oh, I didn't realize
and
you
I got a refresh on my coffee.
Nice. Are you, so you're? They don't. Do they have like a? What's with the glove still on? You don't have enough time to put it back on as you walk in. You're just going to keep doing radio now, like Michael Jackson over there?
Being effective and utilizing my time properly is something I value. And one of those things is I can just run out there, grab my club, and just start going. They got a bay just set aside just for me to just
because you're a
go
VIP.
out and hit long drives during the break.
You're a strange individual.
Thank you for your service. All right, I want to get to start the 11 o'clock hour. I want you guys to both how quickly you can crush 300-yard bombs in that time, but
we'll find out.
Go for it. Matt Hamilton and Alex Strofer at Pin Seekers in DeForest. Hunter Vaughn and Riley Yauk are in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios, and I'm at home. At some point, we got to get to Riley's latest love letter to his betrothed. That's all still ahead in the 11 o'clock hour, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here, and when I was on the hunt for a hot tub, I found Patio Pleasures, a locally owned family business. Patio Pleasures has a passion for making your home a place for recovery and relaxation. And that's why I'm excited about my new cold plunge from Patio Pleasures. They only showcase premium recovery and relaxation products, and that's how I know it's going to be great. Gear up for spring and check out Patio Pleasures' two incredible showrooms, Madison West and Sun Prairie.
Hey, this is former Badger Brad Norton.
It's a fake. Great call and great execution.
You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison. My name is Riley Yauk, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by Mr. Irrelevant. Join Alex Strofe and Hunter Vaughn every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at, I believe it's 12:30, streaming exclusively on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, and subscribe to the Mr. Irrelevant podcast on Wisconsin On Demand. The madness has begun. Yesterday, the NCAA men's basketball tournament officially tipped off, and there was no shortage of bracket busting, as according to the NCAA March Madness Twitter account, less than 0.5% of perfect brackets remain. Shout out if you're one of those. 14-seeded Oakland to the Horizon League's upset of 3rd-seeded Kentucky was certainly the highlight of the day. Tonight, the Badgers look to avoid a similar fate against 12-seeded James Madison. Tip-off scheduled for 8:40 p.m. Central Time on CBS. Expected to start a little later, though. Wisconsin currently sits at a 5.5-point favorite, according to ESPN Bet. Regardless, though, the Badgers have already done quite well in the lesser-known March Madness, the NCAA Wrestling Championships. 125-pounder Eric Barnett and 165-pounder Dean Hamity both advanced to the quarterfinals, and 3 others are still alive in the Wrestlebacks. Coverage has already started on ESPNU.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. Now, those of you that listen in Madison, you get to enjoy the Sports Center stylings of Riley Yauk. I did enjoy it as well, and I'm not sure what perplexed me more. The fact that during the NCAA tournament, the Bucks have stuff going on. We've got the NFL draft approaching. That Sports Center consisted of an update that the Badgers play at 1 o'clock, a couple of brief highlights about the NCAA men's basketball tournament, and then a significant portion devoted to wrestling. Which, hey, I covered wrestling. I've covered every sport at UW. And I wrote about those teams. I like Chris Bono, the coach there. They do a great job. They have a great program. I was not expecting it to be the focus of the Sports Center. But then on top of that, he teases Mr. Irrelevant, but he doesn't know what time it's on. And I think it's about 12:30.
Oh, I missed that part.
I'm glad. Is that correct, Strofe? Is it 12:30?
Typically it is 12:30.
Yes.
We're not doing a show today, though, because I'm here. So,
I thought you were running back to do Mr. Irrelevant.
No, that's not happening today, but I appreciate
okay.
your service nonetheless.
So
you
don't
can find that
tune
wherever
in
you get
for
your podcast,
Mr.
by the way.
Irrelevant. Who have you had on lately? You always have good guests.
Yeah, you were one of them. You were on Wilde and Josh Jacobs news broke last week, so that was fun. Recently
that was fun.
Caught up with Chris Johnson from the Here District podcast to talk all things Bucks. New fun guests every week, or every other day, I should say. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm Mr. Irrelevant, ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
And I know you're a very busy guy now, but you have been replaced as the producer of Rutledge and Hamilton every weekday 4 to 6 now. It's prime time.
Fired.
Ryan Wollersheim.
Sure is.
That's just because you have so much other stuff to do. You're like Jesse now. You're like the second hardest working guy at the radio station, from what I understand.
Except I actually don't take PTO 3 times a week every week. But yeah, absolutely.
He actually
Jason.
works. I'll give it to Strophy there. He actually is there most days when I show up for my show.
That's still the most unbelievable part about Jesse, and I don't think it's been 6 months. We didn't give him enough of a hard time about taking every Wednesday off for a month to watch his dog.
That's because technically he wasn't off. He'll tell you he was working from home.
Yeah. Yep.
I've heard of that, pupternity leave.
Throwing a tennis ball in your backyard.
Progressive.
Pupternity. I like that.
Yeah.
That's clever.
Can't wait until I get a dog.
Until you get that 1 day a week off.
Better start stocking up those off days.
I might get another dog just for that.
Wait,
you have enough time off, bud. You have enough time off.
That's very fair. I was thrilled this week during my appearance that you were actually on.
Yeah, honestly,
and it was Jim Rutledge
too.
who wasn't.
And
so
then
it was a win.
Yeah, we got to double up on some Matt and Jason Wilde time this week, so it's been pretty nice.
I don't know if the listeners are thrilled, but I certainly am. So I wanted to pose that question to you guys that I teased at the end of the 10 o'clock hour, because I am convinced they're drafting an offensive tackle. I am convinced of it. Not because they need it desperately right now today, but because I don't think they're super-duper sold on Rasheed Walker replacing David Bakhtiari, even though he played well at times last season, but because from a depth perspective and to the point that Rob made when he was with us earlier, like the idea, and Chewy makes it in his argument about the Packers' Super Bowl window being open too, right? That if you're not good on the offensive line, that's the group that could derail everything. Mm-hmm. And so they drafted Brian Bulaga, Iowa, in 2010. Ted Thompson did. And then the very next year, they took Derek Sherrod, an offensive tackle as well. Now, Derek Sherrod did not pan out. He had a catastrophic leg injury in Kansas City. He wasn't very good even before that. So I'm not saying the point that he turned out not to be a good pick is irrelevant. They weren't afraid to go to that position a second straight year. And the Packers, during the Goody and Ted Thompson eras, they have picked a skill position offensive player in the first round of the draft twice. They drafted Aaron Rodgers in 2005, and they drafted Jordan Love in 2020. That's it. That's the list. There's some offensive linemen mixed in there, but that's it. And so the default setting is to draft defense, and with good reason, because it always seems to be the side of the ball without the Hall of Famer that is disappointing. But is there a position they could draft? Even though you're both varying degrees of Goody stands, not to the degree of Tausch. No. Is there a position that Goody could take that you will be, can't believe he took that guy on draft night?
In the first round, I got to be honest with you, Jason, outside of a few, no. I think
a few.
A quarterback, running back, wide receiver, I don't even know that I'd be super upset with a wide receiver, depending on who falls. Obviously, if they're drafting Anders Carlson's replacement in the first round, I'd be upset. And again, unless Brad Nortman is eligible for a second go-around in the NFL draft, if it's a punter, I would be upset. But honestly, no. I think you make a good point, Jason. Defensively, Goody's made 9 first-round draft picks as the general manager. 8 of them have been defense, the other one being Jordan Love, as you mentioned. So I expect something on the defensive side of the ball, but offensive line, either a starter or some depth, wouldn't make me upset. I mean, it's not the sexiest pick in the world. Of course I'd love a cornerback or a safety or an edge rusher where it's somebody where you can go, ooh, like that's a pick that excites me. Lucas Van Ness a year ago is a guy where we understood he's young, he's going to be a project, but he had some flashes in his rookie season, and he's going to take a big step forward here in 2024, likely as a starter or as that third piece on the edge in this new Jeff Hafley defense. So I'm very intrigued by just about any pick Goody could make. Offensive line, again, not the sexiest, but you lose Josh Nijman as a swing tackle. I don't know if you're fully sold on Rasheed Walker as your starting left tackle. I wouldn't be mad about it.
Matt, what about you?
I'm with Strofe. I'm one of those guys, like, take the best available player. Like, assuming it's not, like, maybe a running back, I think I'd be a little bummed about. Not that I think it would be a bad pick per se, but, like, we just spent a ton of money on a running back. Hopefully is going to be playing the strong majority of the 17 games as opposed to our last running back who did not this last season. But, like, you take an offensive lineman, I'm thrilled that they're trying to keep Jordan Love upright because one thing I will say about those last 10 games of the season, Jordan Love had a ton of time in the pocket, and when he had that time, he was able to really thrive in this offense. So I do think an offensive lineman, as kind of like a in-the-trenches, not super sexy pick as that is, it's really going to benefit this offense greatly. That said, we know Goody's a defensive guy first. We're probably going to get a defensive player, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's just the best defensive, most athletic, high scoring on the athleticism chart that Goody's got.
RAS score, yeah.
Whether that's a lineman, a linebacker, or a DB, I really think that Goody's just going to take the fastest, best available player on defense.
I think you might be right. And Jason, I don't know why you're giving me that S-eating grin there when I bring up the relative athletic score. Goody loves that stuff.
He does.
Yeah.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
That's not directed at you. That is directed at Goody. That is such a tiebreaker for him. And a lot of times it really does do you good, right? I mean, here's the thing. We spent some time talking about Isaac Guerrero earlier in the week, right? Who has a crazy RAS, relative athletic score, second only to Saquon Barkley. Right.
Ever.
Would you like to see him come to the Packers?
Yeah, the former Badger, I'd love it.
But when you look back on his Badgers career, obviously he had production to some degree at Louisville, but generally speaking, you know, he wasn't as good as his RAS score would indicate when he was at Wisconsin, right? So it doesn't it obviously does not guarantee success. I think Goody uses it the right way. I think he uses it as a tiebreaker for guys that he likes. I still think watching and obviously they do this, I'm not saying they don't, but to me, can the guy play football or not, right? And it's great that he's a great athlete, but I don't, Tanner Bortolini, I think he can play football and he has a high relative athletic score, right? So that's what you want. I do think it's interesting, though, and I want to get to this coming up next, not just because I don't want to replay audio from me talking on the radio from previously in the week. But you both said running back, and I want to take you to a alternative universe where they do basically the opposite of what happened. Instead of getting Josh Jacobs and getting A.J. Dillon back on a very cheap contract, let's say it goes the other way. And they get to a point with Aaron Jones where he is willing to come back on a pay cut number that they both find palatable. They don't get Josh Jacobs, and they don't bother with A.J. Dillon. What if that scenario had unfolded? Would you pick a running back in the first round then? Because Evan Cohen and the team on Unsportsmanlike had a really interesting conversation yesterday on my drive down to Milwaukee for our lunch with Associated Bank and me doing the show from the Gruber offices, One Call That's All Studios. And it really got me thinking that running back still has value. And is it really as bad of an idea as it has been made out to be of drafting running backs, depending on where? We'll talk about that with Matt and Strofe live from Pin Seekers at or in DeForest next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here for Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust. Well, this time of year, you hear a lot of phrases like the drive for a championship or the road to the final blank. Point is, when we're talking about driving and roads and being the best of the best, we're talking about Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie. And whether you're in need of a quick tune-up or minor repair from the outstanding service team, or it's time to begin the process of buying a new or used vehicle with a friendly salesperson, Zimbrick Chevrolet is truly the name you can trust. But you don't have to just take my word for it. Stop by Main Street in Sun Prairie to see for yourself why Zimbrick Chevrolet is consistently recognized as a best of Madison operation. And to see service options or to check out new and used vehicle inventory, start by logging on to ZimbrickChevrolet.com to see all that Zimbrick has to offer. A best of Madison operation year after year. Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie is truly the name you can trust.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Get 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. I'm Gina Della from Pella. Pella's free in-home consultations make replacing or redesigning your windows and doors easy. We go beyond just measuring and handing you a quote by listening and educating you on all of your product options. And with DesignWorks, you can see what your home will look like before you buy. Order by March 31st to get 0% interest for up to 3 years. Set your free consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
You're probably being overwhelmed with information about semaglutide, the game-changing FDA-approved weight loss treatment. Jim Rutledge here. I was like you. I didn't know what it was until I saw Dr. Nessa Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. He can walk you through the benefits. He can tell you if it's right for you, and then you could come up with a plan to change your life with a workout plan and semaglutide. With that plan, I dropped 20% body fat to 10% body fat, and I dropped over 20 pounds of fat and kept my muscle. You can do the same thing. Go see Dr. Nessa Rodriguez at Carbon World Health.
Cousin Subs was founded in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1972 and has been a member of the Madison community for decades. This year, Cousins has expanded their footprint in the Madison area by opening new locations in Stoughton and Sun Prairie, in addition to existing locations on East Washington Avenue, Monona, and Lodi. Order your favorite subs online or via our app for delivery or pickup. Eat in or grab them to go through our drive-thru for a better sub experience. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. Whether you're ready to hit the road, tackle the yard, or start a new project, we get you the right products at the right prices. Like $30 off select Kurt trailer hitches with installation available. Save $250 on a Teskey 4x8-foot utility trailer with wood sides. And keep things in place with select Keeper brand ratcheting tie-downs, just $13.99. Plus, stock up on Easter candy, 20% off. We get you outdoors because we get you at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Before we talk about running backs, Riley, are you a former wrestler? What is your wrestling fascination? I know you're a UFC guy.
Yep.
I know you're writing a good love letter.
Yep.
Are you a former high school wrestler? Are you a former college wrestler? Are you just
nope?
Are you a descendant of Dan Gable? What is your deal?
Yeah, close. Not quite Dan Gable, but I'm a descendant of Pat Yauk, who is the current head coach for the Milton wrestling team. Just had 3 state champions this past season. Shout out Aiden Sinclair, Maddie, and Tyson Peach. So I actually stopped wrestling in 3rd grade, but, you know, I grew up around wrestling. My older brother, Killian, wrestled at Whitewater. I do jiu-jitsu now, which isn't wrestling, but it's kind of close, still grappling. So I have an affinity. I have a deep love for the grappling martial arts, you could say, wrestling included.
I have so many questions.
Is so unique. Jiu-jitsu, love letters, original alarm clocks. I mean, how old are you, Riley? 21?
22.
You're 22 years old. You are a fascinating cat, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
If I could delve further, so Pat Yauk is your father?
Yes, that is correct.
I'm sure he loves you and all your siblings. You guys have what? There's 14 kids in your family, is that right?
Close, 7.
Okay, I knew I was in the neighborhood. If I may, and I don't want to put too much of your business out on the street, but how did your dad react when you hung up the was it a leotard? Singlet?
Yeah, the singlet, the old wrestling shoes.
Leotard.
What are the ear things called?
It's just a headgear.
The headgear?
Yep.
It's just headgear?
Yep,
Oh.
just a headgear.
Cauliflower ear protectors.
Preventer?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, look at my brother's ears. They're pretty gnarly. I have one little nub. It's not that great.
I have one little nub.
Yeah.
One little nub.
Yeah.
One little, two little, three little nubs.
Sort of a sign of honor, or like it just means you're tough if you got a lot of cauliflower ear. It looks cool. Unfortunately, I don't have that. But anyway, I think it looks cool.
I don't know if it looks cool.
Or it looks gross. There are two camps, two sides of thought on that. But anyways, yeah, I think my dad was disappointed when I stopped wrestling, for sure. He tried to get me to wrestle again in high school, but he always wanted to remind me that he didn't love me any less because I decided to not wrestle. I think he just wanted to spend more time with his son, and was sad that he couldn't, and that we couldn't share in that love together. Now it's a little better now that we can talk wrestling and I actually know what I'm talking about. Wrestle Killian more. It's fun. It's a good time.
Jason, as the father on the panel, have you ever had to preface anything with your daughters of, because of your decision, I just want you to know I don't love you any less?
It sounds like convincing yourself.
Yeah,
So
I don't know that that's a good sign.
So I will say this, and I don't know Pat Yauk, but 7 kids, that's a lot to juggle. There are times where 2 is a little bit challenging for me, but I will say this. So Sydney is our ball sports kid. She's 13. She plays basketball, volleyball, soccer. She does gymnastics, she plays softball, and she plays golf. Maddie is an outstanding gymnast and an outstanding ballet dancer. But those are two areas that, unlike the aforementioned sports that Sid does, I don't have background in. And so, to some degree, I have tried to emphasize to Maddie that just because, I coach some of Sid's teams, etc., it doesn't mean that I like her better or that what she does is more important than what you do. In fact, I'm more amazed by the things that you do because there are things that I could have never done. Like, Sydney, I can float around the three-point line waiting for somebody to kick it out to me and shoot a three. I can't guard a folding chair. Sid's a much better basketball player than I was, no doubt. But just because we have that in common doesn't mean that she's my favorite or whatever else. I love going to the Nutcracker. Like, I went to every single show this year that Maddie was in except one, and I loved every minute of it, even though I don't think anyone wants to see me in a singlet or a leotard dancing in the Milwaukee Ballet, right? So I do think as a parent you have to do a little bit of balancing act there to make sure that they understand that just because we have these things in common doesn't change how I feel about you. Now, that said, I am excited because Maddie's going to run track, which God knows I couldn't do either. And she's going to play some tennis now. She's kind of scaling back a little bit of her ballet commitment, and I'm really excited to watch her do those things. But no, I don't want to cast any aspersions in Pat Yauk's direction, especially since he could probably kick my ass. But I'm guessing that there was a definite tinge of disappointment when you gave up your wrestling because he would want to spend more time coaching you and spending time with you. That said, so does this mean if you do jiu-jitsu, you could kick the crap out of anybody in our ESPN Madison office?
I would be pretty confident in a fight against just about everyone.
Yeah, I would also take Riley, but also, Jason, you have to think about who works at the ESPN Madison office. Riley would be competing against me. He can beat my ass. That's not a high bar. Woolley, once again, not a high bar. Jesse Nelson, not a high bar. Right? I don't know how much if this says more about the people that work within the Everlight Solar Studio or more about Riley Yauk's jiu-jitsu ability. I'm not sure which one it speaks higher of.
Bigger guy.
I'm taking Tausch.
See, that'd be tough. And he has the natural athleticism from being a former professional football player. But
yeah, great feet. Yep. Gross feet, but great feet.
But I'd definitely give myself a puncher's chance, even though I'd try not to punch.
Ooh, puncher's chance.
You're more
That's
of
clever.
a thrower, and right?
Yeah.
So could you pick him up?
No, definitely not.
Like in a fireman's carry type deal?
No chance whatsoever.
He'd be squished like a bug.
Yes.
All right, this was not the conversation that was promised, so let me get to that. We saw Bijan Robinson last season for the Atlanta Falcons. We saw Jahmyr Gibbs for the Detroit Lions. I understand that everyone's taking less money than they used to at the running back position in the National Football League. The fact that Josh Jacobs got a 4-year, $48 million deal from the Packers, and that was like big-time money, when 3 years ago Aaron Jones got a 4-year, $48 million deal when they were still paying running backs, and they didn't even make it to the fourth year because they wanted to cut his salary, tells you where the trend line has been for that position. But what if you wanted to go out and draft a running back in the first round? What if, I know this is a hypothetical, but what if you don't get Josh Jacobs and you only bring back Aaron Jones and you've got Emmanuel Wilson? For you two as Packers fans, would you have been disappointed then if they then turned around and took whoever the top-rated running back is at 25?
So I don't think I'd be disappointed. Obviously, Aaron Jones is going to be commanding a lot of the money and playing time, being the vet on the team and kind of that heart of the locker room. So I don't think disappointed is the word, because I do think Aaron Jones is one of those guys who could see a rookie coming in and think I can actually help this guy, as opposed to some players that might not be as willing to coach or mentor. And I would be excited, but I also think that running back and honestly offense is not a position, or is not a position group of need. So I might have felt like there was better options on the board, but again, disappointment's not the right word. Maybe confused, or like excited for how good this offense is, but realizing that, this is a shootouts. We don't have the defense to win shootouts all the time. And that would be where I would be most concerned with the move. I love offensive players. They're flashy. It's fun to see a good offensive player get taken early in a draft, especially by your team, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to be best for your team. And I really do think defensive side of the ball is where the Packers got to go.
It's just funny to me that we're operating now in this fantasy land where this isn't the realistic possibility coming up in a month in the NFL draft. Because, Jason, if you would have asked us this question 2 weeks ago, this is what we thought would be happening for the Green Bay Packers, right? Josh Jacobs was never on our radar as Packers fans to be the next running back lining up next to Jordan Love. I never thought A.J. Dillon would be back, and here he is back on the weirdest contract I've ever seen in the NFL. So, no, I don't think disappointment would have been the right word, Jason, if they went running back in the first round. Obviously, knowing Goody and his history in the draft, it's incredibly unlikely. But you and I have talked about this before. What I would have liked to see the Packers do in the draft if Aaron Jones is their only back, aside from my guy Emmanuel Wilson, I would have liked to see them take the 2017 approach where they're drafting multiple running backs, one on day 2, maybe 2 on day 3, right? Back in the 2017 draft, which was memorable for an array of reasons, right? That was the draft in which the Packers traded out of the first round, passing up on T.J. Watt. It was the last draft they took a Wisconsin Badger and Vince Beagle, and they also drafted Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, and Devontae Mays at the running back position.
Right.
That would have been the approach I would have liked to see them take this year had Aaron Jones been the only returning real running back outside of the aforementioned Emmanuel Wilson. So I don't know. I obviously I don't think running back is a realistic possibility in the first round now with Josh Jacobs and A.J. Dillon under contract. But I'd still like to see the Goody and company take a couple swings at that position, maybe on day 2 or day 3 in this year's draft, because I still think it's a position of weakness. Let's say if Josh Jacobs goes down, right? I don't think Quadzilla has fully found his footing yet, Jason. I as much as I like A.J. Dillon and he is the mayor of Door County and he is a fan favorite and a cult hero of sorts, I just don't know if he's an NFL starter because the market clearly shows that they don't think he is, as he's back on, like I mentioned, the weirdest contract I've ever seen. So I would still like to see a couple swings at that position, just certainly not in the first round.
I just think it's so weird that the running back position is still important to your team's success. You have to be able to run the ball. You have to be able to play action pass. And yet it's been devalued to the point where you don't pay them and you don't draft them high, and yet you really need them. So, yes, it's great that you can find the Aaron Joneses of the world in the 5th round. But sometimes there are guys that can tilt the field. And why I brought this up was I was listening to Evan Cohen and Chris Canty and Michelle Smallman on Unsportsmanlike yesterday. And it was Canty made this great point about how they had a chance to draft, quarterbacks in that 2016 draft, the draft in which the Bills get obviously their franchise quarterback in Josh Allen, right? And instead at number 2, they take Saquon Barkley. And then subsequently, the following year then, when there are quarterbacks to be drafted, Tua, it must have been 2019 then, Tua, Jordan Love, I suppose, to some degree, obviously Justin Herbert. They don't draft a quarterback, so they let those guys pass. And because they took Daniel Jones in 2019. That was the trickle down. So it was Saquon in 18, Daniel Jones in 19, and then passing great quarterbacks in 20, all because you took Saquon instead of, say, Josh Allen in 2018. And so I just thought it was interesting to hear it from that perspective because that's a team that is still wandering in the quarterbacking wilderness again, right? They overpaid Daniel Jones. What a disappointment, and I understand that he had an injury. But that's where they're at. And the Packers, again, are just looking, going, sorry to see that worked out for you guys the way it did. And the Packers have Jordan Love that everyone's over their skis about. So I just think it's really interesting, and I'm eager to see what the Packers' running game looks like. Before we move on and get to Whoa Riley, I didn't realize you were such a Emmanuel Wilson guy.
No,
Tell me
that's
more
actually
about that.
That's actually sarcasm, Jason. So this dates back to the playoff games when we were doing our ESPN Wisconsin sidecast. As you pick up, which cat is that's in your hands?
This is Luna. She's trying to crawl around in my desk area here trying to steal stuff, so she's going to be on the radio instead.
Yeah, I'd like to officially welcome Luna to the Emmanuel Wilson rant I'm about to go on. So we were doing our ESPN Wisconsin sidecast on the ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison YouTube channels, the watch-along with Josh DiMaggio and Gabe Neitzel, Ben Bruss, Brad Nortman, and myself. And Emmanuel Wilson was getting some valuable touches in the playoffs, man. And I like Emmanuel Wilson getting touches when it's Game 3 of the preseason. I don't like Emmanuel Wilson getting touches in the wild card round against the Dallas Cowboys and in the divisional round against the San Francisco 49ers. So, yeah, I'd like to see him replaced as running back 3, maybe even running back 2, depending on where Matt LaFleur sees A.J. Dillon fitting into the depth chart. So, yeah.
Thunder and Thunder?
Thunder and Thunder doesn't really sound super appealing to me. I'd like a little bit of lightning. Shout out Isaac Guerrero, maybe, with the great RAS score, one behind the aforementioned Saquon Barkley. So I'm not a huge Emmanuel Wilson guy. I'm sure he's a nice fella, Jason. You would know that better than me.
He is nice. He apparently is not a great pet owner because he'd had his dog for about 12 hours and it ran away.
Oh, no.
And fortunately, someone found him. The power of social media, they found and reunited him with his dog. But, yeah, we all have had those moments where pets run out and you're a little nervous about them, but he had to go to practice. So, like, the dog is roaming the Green Bay wilderness while he's off at practice and hoping that he comes back home.
So you're kind of a zookeeper of sorts, right? You have like 11 animals, if I'm not mistaken, at your household, at the Wilde household in Green Bay?
Yeah, right now, the updated list, not including fish, 2 dogs, 6 cats, 3 hamsters.
Wow. So I don't want to...
How many would it be if you included fish?
Not as many as there used to be.
Oh, R.I.P. But I don't want
to lately.
I don't want to cast this upon you and call you a judgmental human being. But are you judgmental when it comes to other pet owners? Right? Like, are you viewing Emmanuel Wilson as a bad pet owner because he couldn't keep track of his dog for 12 hours, and here you are in the Wilde Casa keeping track of double-digit pets?
No, because pets are challenging, and even our best-behaved dog ran away once chasing a deer in our backyard, and I was very nervous. She's my favorite. Don't tell the other pets.
Oh, so you have favorite pets, but not favorite children.
Not correct. Yes, exactly.
Okay, got it.
So she was our first. Stella was our first dog. Funny. So she has seniority around here. So yeah, she's my BFF. But yeah, she ran away, which I would never expected. And I don't think I'm a bad pet owner, so I'm not judgmental. I am, on the other hand, sharing in the anxiety that comes with, we had a cat run through the back door that we didn't know had left. So my favorite pet moment, and then we've got to get to Will Riley because we haven't spent enough time talking wrestling and love letters. So
Can't wait.
So we have 6 cats, and 2 of them are orangish. The one that has cost us thousands of dollars in surgeries that I'm still paying off, who now lives exclusively in Maddie's room because he can't be trusted not to ingest things that might kill him. And then another cat. Well, one night, there's a cat on our back deck. And I'm like, oh, my God, how did AJ, or I don't know which one I thought it was, whether it was Arnold or whether it was Sam Francisco that I thought had escaped. So he's out on our back deck, and I'm trying to coax this cat into our house. I've got treats. Come on. I don't know how you got out here, but come on back in. And then I turn and look, and in the window of our sliding doors on the deck are Sam and Arnold, the 2 cats that I think this cat might be. So this is some random cat that I'm trying to coax into our home, and we almost added a cat completely by accident. So
you say almost. You didn't?
He did not listen to me. He ran away. So it was someone else's cat who they allowed to run the streets, and I almost added a cat unbeknownst to me that it wasn't one of my own. So I think you've had too many cats when you can't tell if a cat on your deck is one of yours or not.
Do we need to set up a little chit chat?
Like an intervention?
Yeah, that's what I didn't want to use that word because it seemed a little strong, but it seems like this might be getting out of control, buddy.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a catastrophe.
Oh, God.
He's had that holstered for the last, 6 minutes of this conversation. He's just been waiting for the window to get that in. No.
I'd be feline to you if I didn't think of that earlier.
All right, I'm done.
The answer to your question is no. We live in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where you get a lot of house for your money. We have a very big house, so we are very lucky that way. So they have plenty of room to roam, and sometimes they want to join the radio show. It would be great if the Fleet Farm read right now was about pet ownership, because that would be really timely. But I think that was earlier in the month. So instead, I'll just tell you to bring the family to Fleet Farm tomorrow, March 23rd, Saturday, for your Easter bucket event from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Kids will be able to get their very own Easter basket filled with candy and stickers and more. You can learn more and find out which store you're going to go to online at fleetfarm.com. And don't forget the new Fleet Rewards program has arrived at Fleet Farm. Enjoy special perks and offers exclusive to Fleet Rewards members. Find out how you can earn those rewards fast or sign up at fleetfarm.com/rewards. We do buy a lot of our pet stuff there, and it pays for itself almost because you get all these great rewards. So go to fleetfarm.com/rewards to find out more. Time now for Whoa Riley. Not to be confused with Whoa Strophy. That's next. Wilde and Tausch.
Driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or visit MetroKiaofMadison.com.
Making the switch to solar energy is easy with Everlight Solar. Mark Toscher here. How would you like to start saving money while also helping to save the planet? I know you would, and you can. All you have to do is make the switch to Everlight Solar. Our family is one of many who have made the switch to solar over the last several years. We knew we had wanted to, but weren't exactly sure where to even start. That's when we met with the Everlight Solar team, and they outlined the entire process and educated us on the benefits of making the switch. It was super simple. Join us in saving a ton of money and creating a greener environment for our family and the community by switching to solar. Learn more and schedule a free consultation at everlightsolar.com. That's everlightsolar.com.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on Bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Need more comfort in your life? Craving a craft meal in a warm and welcoming atmosphere? Well, enjoy the comforts of the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company. From classics like the chicken pot pie or the pub burger to countless handcrafted beers, the Great Dane Pub has everything you need. With 4 convenient Madison area locations, downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, or East Madison, there's a Great Dane to satisfy your comfort cravings near you. Visit GreatDanePub.com for more information. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's original brew pub since 1994.
Are you looking for a fast-paced job in a fun and exciting work environment? Look no further than Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. We offer a wide range of job and shift availability in both part-time and full-time positions. Competitive wages and great benefits await you at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. Visit us in person or check out our website to see all of our job openings. Make work fun and apply for a job at Madison's only casino.
I was rolling my rig on a Crescent City run with my hands on the wheel looking into the sun. With a flash, I became temporarily blind by a plate glass truck I was tailing behind. Next thing I know, I'm in the side of a ditch with a bent rear wheel and a broken off hitch. But I was hauling again in just a short while, 'cause Truck Star Collision is on my speed dial. Do you operate a fleet, whether it's heavy-duty 18-wheelers or medium-duty delivery vans? And does vehicle downtime make you cringe? Time is money, and a fleet vehicle on the sideline hurts because you need your fleet to be up and running 100% of the time. If one of your heavy or medium-duty fleet vehicles is out of commission, Truckstar Collision Center in Deerfield will get it back on the road quickly. Since Truckstar is a full-service facility, the complete repair is done in-house, saving you time and money. And remember, they're able to repair both heavy and medium-duty vehicles. Truckstar Collision Center, minutes off I-94 in Deerfield. Call 888-400-1002 or log on to truckstarcollision.com.
When you're having computer problems, you need a company you trust to get things working again. Quickly and affordably. Madison Computer Works has been doing that for business and residential customers for decades. Our computer care plans take away the hassle of being without your computer or needing to bring it in for repair. Starting at only $10 a month, our local and friendly techs provide remote help and can fix most problems in just minutes. Call 608-231-8000 and sign up today. Madison Computer Works, computers that work for you.
From the preps.
Russell spins his way into the paint with contact, finishes, and a foul.
That was pretty.
To the pros.
Beverly launches from 3, and he knocks it down.
The biggest games play on 100.5 ESPN.
Ready to roll, ready or not, ready to give it all I've got. Gotta live to win it up.
Before we get to Will Riley, we need to pick this week's trivia winner. I'm surprised that Jesse has allowed someone to do this job. He's very protective of it. But, Riley, you have the cheese fry helmet of victory in your hands.
That I do. All righty, here we go.
Shaking it up.
The winner of Wilde and Tausch trivia for this week is, let me cue the drum roll, Phil Sheik from Cedarburg.
Phil in Cedarburg is your winner for this week. Congratulations to Phil. I don't remember when he played, but we're happy for him. Was that yesterday when we did double trivia?
It was geography trivia.
Yeah, there you go. All right, nice work. All right, speaking of nice work, time now for Whoa Riley.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
That was personal.
I had breakfast at Tracy Rocca's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
Alrighty, so before I get into my love letters, which clearly is all anyone cares about when I'm producing this show, I hope Mr. 36 on the YouTube stream is still watching / listening. He called me out on the stream saying that wrestling is not at all like BJJ and that I should move past my white belt before saying I can beat people up. I just wanted to answer that real quick.
Sounds like he might beat you up.
I know.
Yeah, sounds like we might have
made an enemy by saying that. I apologize, but I mean, my older brother, bigger UFC fan than I am, he wrestled in college.
Possible.
He would say jiu-jitsu is similar. They're both grappling, and I mean, he kicks my butt all the time. I'm not saying that jiu-jitsu is better than wrestling. Wrestling is probably a better base. If you're going to pick one, go with wrestling, then retire into jiu-jitsu when you get older. Not trying to pick a fight with people. I'm just baffled.
Is jiu-jitsu to wrestling what pickleball is to tennis?
Yeah, you could say, like, you start with tennis, you start with wrestling, and then it's way easier to go from wrestling to jiu-jitsu than it is to go from jiu-jitsu to wrestling.
Somehow, the idea of jiu-jitsu and pickleball being in the same sentence is a little alarming to me. Wait, it's more grappling that I don't know enough about jiu-jitsu.
It's okay.
I'm more of a Muay Thai guy, right?
Oh, no? Muay Thai, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Definitely not that either. So what do you mean it's grappling? Like, let's say, can we get Hunter Vaughn into the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studio so you can do some moves on him? What is it? What are you doing in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so if you start on the feet, similar to wrestling, you're trying to take the other guy down. The difference in jiu-jitsu, there's no escapes or anything like that. You can't disengage once you make contact with them. So some guys will literally just sit down like the match will start and they'll just sit and they'll like grab people, try and like do leg entanglements and stuff and get all tied up. The main difference is you're trying to submit in jiu-jitsu, like you're trying to choke them out, break their arm, leg, whatever.
Choke them out or break their arm.
Exactly.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Sounds a lot like
simple
pickleball.
terms. Yeah, exactly. Just like pickleball. Exactly the same.
All right. I'm out.
Fair.
Whoa,
Fair.
Riley.
All righty, moving on to the topic I actually had planned. So the shoe was on the other foot this past week. For those of you who don't know, a couple weeks ago, Katie came down and met my family. It was a huge thing on the show. I got grilled by Jason and Tausch for a while on it. This week, I went and met her family for the first time, which was, it was fantastic. Her family is great. But it was really interesting because right when I walked through the door, we do the handshakes. Hey, good to meet you, yada, yada, yada. And then they instantly start talking about the clip from a couple of weeks ago of me on Wilde and Tausch. Apparently, that's been circulating throughout their whole family. Like, all the relatives have seen it. So I'm pretty sure there's a huge swath of new Wilde and Tausch fans in the state of Minnesota, in the Rochester area.
Wow. I feel like we're making a difference.
Yeah.
I was going to ask what you actually thought of her family, but then I realized they all may be listening because you're on the program.
Yeah. And they'll probably find this clip too. And it'll make the rounds again.
So what'd you do? What did you participate in when you met the family?
So they're a big competition family, you could say. I played a lot of games, played foosball, played this ping pong game called Tennis Tower. We played Roach Poker, which is a sort of similar
gross.
to BS. If you ever played that game, if you're familiar with that, try and call people out on being wrong. What else did we play?
The jiu-jitsu on her dad?
No, not on her dad. Not on her dad. They were interested. I was trying to show them a few things. They were a little skeptical. I don't know if they thought I was going to, like, attack them, or if they just wanted to like beat me up but were scared, or if I don't know exactly, but I was trying to show them a little bit. They weren't really having it, but that's okay. I'm sure in the future, if they really want to beat me up, they can do that.
What? Why would they want to beat you up?
Where are we going here?
I have no idea. I'm kind of rambling.
Hold on.
Right now.
I'm calling it.
Whoa, Riley.
Has there been any love letters exchanged recently?
No. However, Jesse did, because I asked to take off that day. I was a little late when I was at her house. So I asked if I could get off the next day, and Jesse very respectfully obliged. He took my shift for me. So shout out Jesse. I know we give him a lot of crap, but he did do that for me. And he wrote the text in response in sort of a letter form. And then I had Katie respond to him from my phone in the form of a letter, which he really appreciated, thought that was funny. But no love letters, actual love letters since.
Just to Jesse Nelson.
Just to Jesse.
As we all expect.
Exactly.
I'm not afraid to say that was quite a roller coaster there. Yeah. And I'm getting off now.
Sounds like a plan. I'm good.
That's it for Whoa, Riley. And I definitely should have said that sooner. I am glad that your girlfriend's family has now become fans of the show. I don't believe that that's true, though. I'm guessing they just want to hear any parts where we talk about them or you. So I'm guessing they're not subscribers to the YouTube channel and the like. But maybe they are.
Someday. Maybe someday if they're not yet.
They don't want to beat you up.
Yeah.
That was where we kind of jumped the shark. I think.
See, it's the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. Maybe the worst woe segment? I don't know.
Let me give you advice. I'll make it real quick. Don't do anything that would make them want to beat you up.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
All right. Keep it that way.
Thank you. I'm going to get myself off the video.
We're going to wrap things up without Riley with a Feel Good Friday, which definitely that was not it. To finish out the week, presented and painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994. Find the Great Dane nearest you at greatdanepub.com. ESPN NFL draft expert Mel Kiper Jr. was on Wilde and Tausch on ESPN Wisconsin earlier this week and discussed his difficulty in assessing now former Wisconsin running back Braylon Allen ahead of the 2024 NFL draft.
Allen, I haven't figured out. And a lot of these guys, hey, you'll be right on some, you'll be wrong on others. But at least you have an idea, right? You have a strong conviction on those guys. I don't have it. I haven't been able to figure out Braylon Allen.
Find the full conversation with Mel Kiper Jr. on Wilde and Tausch, available wherever you get your podcast and on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Get no interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Don't wait. You have to order by March 31st. Visit PellaWI.com.
Mark Tauscher here, and this Friday of the big tournament is always one of my favorite feel-good Fridays of the year, painted by Holman Lindsay Paints. Stick around to hear a few of the best feel-good stories of the week coming up to close out today's show. And if you want to make sure to get your next paint project at home done right, well, then I suggest you do what my family did and trust the pro painters at Holman Lindsay Paints. Get connected with the perfect pro painter for what your project calls for by simply stopping into any Madison area Holman Lindsay location. The team at Holman Lindsay will help pair you with the best pro for the job. And Holman Lindsay is the one paint you can trust to withstand the challenges of Wisconsin's weather year-round. That's what makes it Wisconsin's best paint. Holman Lindsay, great paint, great people, and check them out at holmanlindsay.com. And stick around for Feel Good Friday coming up to close out this edition of Wilde and Tausch, painted by Holman Lindsay Paints.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honeys. Congratulations to the perennial Best of Madison Award winner by the folks at Madison Magazine. Meet me at Buck and Honeys to celebrate Wisconsin hospitality. Whether you're enjoying the view on the Yahara River in Monona, exploring Wanakee, visiting the OG in Sun Prairie, or checking out the new location in Mount Horeb, you can enjoy the Buck and Honeys experience in a neighborhood near you. Serving lunch and dinner 7 days a week with brunch every Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you at Buck and Honeys.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
And after 4 overtimes, we finally figure out the first team in the Division I state final. 99-95 our score. Arrowhead Warhawks.
Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania is also brought to you by Canopy Wealth Management, Pasquale's Cantina, UW Credit Union, Stoughton Trailers, the GRB Academy, and Stoughton Health.
Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance. And you can weather any storm. You'll also save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote. Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
There's a good chance if you watch sports, you're getting served information about hormone optimization. What does that even mean? Dr. Ness Rodriguez at Carbon World Health can tell you exactly what hormone optimization means. He will take your blood work and let you know if it's right for you. If you're feeling sluggish, not losing weight like you used to, you're not gaining muscle like you used to, or you just don't feel like yourself in most aspects of your life, go see Dr. Ness Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. In fact, sign up for the 6-week experience so you can see everything that Carbon World Health has to offer, including hormone optimization. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
I'm attorney David Gruber. We've helped injured Wisconsinites for more than 30 years. Trust our hometown team to get you back in the game. Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
You gotta get down on Friday. It's time to finish the week off right. It's Feel Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Holman Lindsay.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in Doka, walk around the neighborhood.
Time for Feel Good Friday, painted by Holman Lindsay Paints. Before we say goodbye to the boys at Pin Seekers in DeForest, we only have a little bit of time, and I have to say, we had a great day today. We had a lot of fun at Riley's expense. We had a lot of fun with you guys at Pin Seekers. Generally speaking, we talk Packers on this show. Packers and nonsense. One of the teams we don't talk enough about plays tonight in the Frozen Four, and that is the Wisconsin Badgers women's hockey team, coached by a legend, Mark Johnson. I was just watching a video that the NCAA posted, him talking about coaching and leadership. He's one of my favorite guys I covered. I covered him when he was helping out at Madison Memorial with their boys hockey team. He is an absolute legend, and that is an absolute legendary program. We wish the Badgers luck tonight in New Hampshire against Colgate. That game is at 6:30 Central Time. It is available on ESPN Plus if you want to watch it. Fellas, enjoy your Coors Lights and your driving range time at Pinseekers. You are off the clock. Well done, boys. We appreciate you stepping in.
Thanks, Jason. Always a blast with you, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hey, take care. Be good.
Hey, that's my line. That's
Catastrophe and take care, be good. Who is this guy?
He's feeling fine after those lines. That's it for us today. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here, and when